This meeting is being recorded. So tonight, what we'll be doing is we'll be introducing each other who, for those who haven't been here before, there's quite a few people who are regulars. And those, once we get through the new people, we'll talk about what we've been up to in the last 6 months, but keep it brief. We're not going to be here for greater than 2 hours. So what I'll do is I'll just scan around. Scott, have you been here before?
Yeah.
I thought so.
It would have been while we were during the first lockdown, I think, is when I first joined. Yeah.
Very good. Ken, have you been here before?
Sorry, had to find the unmute. I wasn't expecting that I had to talk.
No worries. So tell us about yourself and what you do in vintage collecting, and just tell us all about yourself.
Yeah, okay. This audio is probably not going to be real good. If I had realised I had to talk, I would have plugged a better.
Sounds fine to me.
Sounds fine. You're doing well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a very old laptop. It's an old Lenovo E530, so the camera and mic's not all that fantastic. Okay. Yeah, I've had a big interest in retro for a very long time. I actually used to work for Commodore years and years ago.
Really?
And probably my first computer was a VIC-20. First computer I was exposed to was in high school, Apple IIe. And when I left Commodore, I got very keen to collect all the machines I'd missed out on. I never got to play with things like Microbees and Tandy and all sorts of stuff. So fortunately, I collected a fair bit of stuff early on in the piece, because these days it's it's pretty crazy trying to find anything for a reasonable price. Yeah, I don't know what else is there to say. I don't get much time to tinker these days. I look after my dad. He's 86 with dementia. I'm stuck with him 24/7, so it's very demanding. But I saw this thing on Facebook, and I thought it would be cool to watch it tonight, and I didn't realise that I'd actually be part of the chat side of it. So.
Welcome, Ken. It's very interesting to have someone who used to work for Commodore. It'd be great to actually draw some information out of you later on, if we could, just about how long you were there. Actually, if you want to do it now, how long were you at Commodore for?
Okay, when I say worked for Commodore, as in one of their retail outlets.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah, not the actual
corporation
company itself. I'm not like Bill Hurd or anything, So. So I was there when I first got involved. It was Commodore 64 era. I left a year before Commodore Australia folded. Unfortunately, if I had known, I would have stayed. But the boss was a bit of a a-hole, so that was my reason for leaving. So I missed out seeing all the Amiga AGA stuff and all that sort of caper. But in the last 3 or 4 years, someone did manage to sell me a Amiga 1200. So eventually I will get to finally play with AGA and fill in that missing gap of my love for the old Commodore stuff. So
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. If you go to my server, shazam.zap2.org, click on iGal, you'll be able to probably see a lot of the bits and pieces that I collected earlier on the piece.
Oh, wow, cool. If you could click on the chat button and type in a link into the chat window, that would be great for us to have a look at. We'd love to see that. Great. Henry, I think this is the first time we've seen you here on the Zoom. Would you like to introduce yourself to the group? But unmute yourself first, please. There you go.
Thank you, Anthony. I still do that actually during, it's actually Teams calls for work. And I always just keep talking. Everyone's going, unmute, unmute. I'm not actually looking at it. So, look, thanks very much. I'm Henry. So, a lot of people probably know me. I sort of post a lot of, I suppose, like jokey type of posts on the vintage forums. But I only just recently started collecting the computers. So my background is that I've been collecting video game consoles since forever and a day. and that was probably my first love. But then a few years ago, I picked up an Atari XGS games console, which actually had the connected keyboard, and that sort of just set off a little bit of a trip down memory lane, particularly around the 8-bit era. And so I sort of switched focus and stopped collecting video games consoles and actually went to start collecting 8-bit consoles. So just what Ken said, he actually grew up with, while working for Commodore. My very first computer was a Sinclair ZX Spectrum, the Speccy. And that's actually where I sort of grew up and sort of learned programming. I was, my proudest achievement was probably completing Manic Miner. I also completed Attic Attack and Saber Wolf, if anyone actually knows the Sinclair games. And I reached Elite on Elite, which is interesting because I actually found my old data tapes that actually has the Elite save data. So I'm actually going to interesting to see whether I actually can bring that up or resurrect that before. Pretty much every 8-bit console other than the Micro B I own. Although I'm living in an apartment, I'm probably restricted in actually what I can actually collect. I would love to have your sort of setup, Anthony, in respect to that. But I've always been in IT, so a few of the veterans here might actually know. So I previously used to be the education manager for Novell Netwear. Anyone remembers the old Novell days? So I ran all the NAECs across Australia, actually across Asia Pacific. And then also was the regional director for a company called CompTIA. So a lot of people probably got their certs, the A+, Net+, etc. So that's where I started collecting, because I used to be in an Asia Pacific role. I used to always head up into places like Japan and stuff and hit Akihabara and sort of pick up the old Famicons, etc. But for the last 7 years, I've been working as the regional director for certifications for the Australian Computer Society. So I would imagine there might be some members actually here on this call who are actually with the ACS. So I head up the certification programs for them there. So yeah, my first call. So I'm looking forward to chatting and just shooting the breeze with anybody in all things vintage. Oh, by the way, my latest pickup, what Ken was actually talking about, he's got an A1 1200. I'm waiting for an Amiga 600 to come to me from the Netherlands, of all places. So interesting enough, if you want all things Commodore and Amiga, get them from Martin in the Netherlands. They're relatively much cheaper than what they actually are here, buying locally at the moment, if you don't actually have the contacts with people with large warehouse collections selling them off. So anyway, that's my little plug for Martin over in the Netherlands. That's it for me.
Cool. All right. Well, I was going to go to Roy, but I'm going to jump down to Bruce. So Bruce, if you wouldn't mind telling us about yourself and what your interests are.
Hello. My name is Bruce Rain. I have a little I'm a sole trader, and I have a little company called Brankus Creations. I am very much a Mac collector, and I have been using sort of Apple and Mac computers since the dawn of time, certainly the dawn of those computers being available. And I worked sort of professionally in print and pre-press for many years. My very first computer was a VZ200, the old Dick Smith standard, with the rubber keys. And when that died, I then upgraded to a VZ300. And that's where I sort of, learned to program and all that sort of stuff. And then through a friend, got interested in Apple, and then got to see my very first Macintosh in, I don't know exactly when, but it would have been 84, 85, something like that. And just sort of seeing that little sort of 9-inch screen with the black text on the white background was just an absolute game changer for me, and playing around with Mac Paint, and that sort of started my my love for Macintoshes. And I am, these days, I'm working as a web developer, and I moonlight as a sort of computer repairer. I do a lot of sort of recapping work for Macs and for Amigas as well. And I've got a little pokey little YouTube channel, and that's probably it for me.
Very good. Thank you, Bruce. No. And Roy is unfortunately not here. So what we will do is we'll probably just start going around and talking about what we've been doing. Does anyone want to volunteer and tell us what they have been doing that is relatively interesting and computer related, retro computer related? May I have a volunteer, please?
I suppose I'll start soon. I'm there if everyone can hear me. I'm basically a microbee guru at the moment. That's basically what I've been collecting for being my first computer, that home computer that I had back in the 80s, and I've still got my original machine. But basically doing a lot of archiving. I've been scanning more your computer and APC Macs, putting them up on archive.org. I've helped out with some BBLET BBC user group over in New Zealand, a big collection of their magazines. Not quite as many as you've been doing, Anthony, but they're also up there. Computer-wise, I got my microbee overdrive unit working. It's a fairly unique little microbee, a 128K premium unit, but it has the two floppy drives on a little that sit on top, 2 3.5.
So the drives are over the computer, not a processor accelerator.
Correct, I know.
I thought it was some sort of fancy accelerator for a few seconds. I think, wow, I haven't heard of this one.
No, well, the schools wanted it easier to move things around. So this little bit at the top, floppy, well, I put a GoTech in there to make it a little bit easier, but basically just a 128K premium, but they put the two floppies on this little unit at the top, and they called it an overdrive.
That's an original device.
Correct, yeah.
Never saw one of those.
Is it you reading that right? Because it's bloody back to front to me, but anyhow.
Yeah, looks spot on.
Yeah, okay. No, so that's your overdrive. Anyhow, that one's going. What else? God, beneficent. But basically, we're working on a Super 80.
Oh, cool.
With Kim John down the bottom there. He's just listening in. But we acquired a couple of motherboards that need a lot of work. So trying to get some original cases, original keyboards, et cetera, and hopefully get them up and running.
Cool.
That's the current project. So, cool. And I've been sick and tired of recording microbee tapes. I've backed up about 40 or 50 of them in the last 6 months, starting to look like a cassette. But recently we also recovered a Super 80 tape. Giorgio, he was the author. He scanned his tape in and eventually able to get it to load in. So all good, into the emulator.
Huh. I recall last time we spoke, you were importing a tape emulator from Russia. That's right.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, it works great.
Oh, great.
Yep. I had a couple of little issues. First of all, the in and outs aren't marked on the unit. So you know which one's in and which one's out. No instructions, but yeah, find that out. It's also had a stereo output, and the microbee mono plug didn't seem to pick anything up. So I bought a little, just a stereo to mono little adapter, and that works well.
Cool.
Plug her in and load, and up she runs.
Oh, good.
Working quite well. It was about $80. So, no, it was working great.
Alan, sorry, butting in, Anthony, just related to the tape emulator. So, Alan, I know Jason's got a version of it, and I bought one from a gentleman in country Victoria, but there's a device called SVI CAS, which was originally developed for the Spectra Video. I think it's a...
That's the one I've got.
Oh, that's the one you've got? Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, is that going to work? But obviously you got that copy. He just walked away.
Yeah, he's not interested in what you have to say.
All good. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up one recently and they're fantastic.
Yeah, I've got a tape emulator. It's called a phone.
Yeah,
Right.
agreed, Dave. I've been playing around with audio. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the little unit.
That's a different one again.
That's the
Yeah.
Russian one. That's
Yeah, that's the Russian one.
Okay.
A little menu comes up, play, save. Well, I don't know what the other ones were. It just takes 5 volts in at the side, 5 to 12 volts or whatever. It just converts it down. That was me stereo to mono plug that I've had to use. But
that's the unit you're using to back up your micro B tapes.
No. That's just for playing them.
Oh, okay, cool.
Backup.
He's gone again.
Gone again.
Alan's off to pull down his 8-track reel-to-reels.
I know.
Stone and chisel.
A tape recorder.
Yes. That's got
Line. Yep.
line out as well as USB. The USB is crap. The line out works fantastic.
And you're just plugging that into your PC and recording it.
Correct. I plug it into my laptop. Portable. I recently went over. There was a guy selling a micro B on eBay. He had a heap of tapes, half of which we didn't have backed up. So contacted him. Can I come on over? This is before bloody lockdown, of course. So take my little unit, take my laptop. I just plug straight into the microphone input, the mic input of my laptop. I use Gold Wave as my recorder. Absolutely fantastic. Best unit I've played with.
And your WAV files or whatever you're using go up on archive.org or something?
If they're micro B stuff, now they're on Ewan's site.
On your site, yeah.
Yes. No, don't put any of them up on archive. Only put all the scans of APCs and your computers and all that crap up there.
Okay.
Everything else goes up on Ewan's site.
Cool. Very good.
So that's what it's about.
Well, speaking of Ewan, before we go on to what other people are doing, Ewan has arrived and he's never been in one of these Zoom sessions.
Correct.
Why don't we ask Ewan to introduce himself? If you would mind, turn on your microphone and tell us a little bit about yourself, Ewan. Where's he going? There he is.
There we go. I figured this out now. Hello. Hi, everyone. I just happened to be having a look at Facebook and saw that it was online, so I thought I'd drop in and say g'day to everyone. So hello. What have I been up to lately? Just keeping my head down, basically. And I have actually been working on the Classic Plus Micro V for quite a bit over the last few days because the office suffered power outage and so on. So I used that time to start working on the logic of the FPGA that does the SD card emulation stuff and the video and all that sort of thing. The Classic Plus Micro B that's I've been working on for like 5 years.
I think it might be more like 6 or 7.
Yeah, well, yes, the date on the printed circuit board is 2016, so yes, it's been too long, but it's been a learning curve and we're getting there. Other than that, not really much. As far as Micro B goes, I've had a whole load of assembly service work and other subcontract design stuff that keeps things ticking along. The retro stuff, unfortunately, because it doesn't really earn me much money, gets left to when I've got time. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Fair enough. Thanks, Ewan.
No worries.
And now that Roy's back, Roy, we just finished all the introductions. Would you mind introducing yourself to the group?
Yep, I'm Roy. I sort of fell into collecting. Like, I got my first computer in the late 70s when I was 16, which was a Superboard 2. And since then I've had TSR-80s. I've had a couple of DOS-based machines. So I just sort of fell into collecting, and I've worked for Microsoft in the past, and I've worked for a few banks on commercial software development projects. Worked in service for 10 years in a fact done environment, doing research. Yeah, and that's a brief summary about me.
Cool. Thanks, Roy. So now we'll go back. So if there's anyone been working on anything interesting they'd like to share or talk about, I'll just quickly catch up on what I'm doing before we go to the next person. So as I was mentioning before, I'm working through thousands of these Cursor Commodore magazines that I'm uploading to archive.org. I reckon I've only got 51 left to do. I got a motherload of Commodore 64 and Commodore 128 spare chips from an ex-retailer who used to repair them in the Latrobe Valley. And so I've been working through Commodore 64s and replacing faulty chips through them. It's been really, really good. So it doesn't take very long to fix a Commodore 64. Once you identify the defects, just pop the chip out. And since I have an abundance of spares, that's quite handy. I installed Pymega with great success on my little 400 Pi, whatever you call it, the integrated little mini wedge Raspberry Pi. That was pretty cool. I've been bidding and paying ridiculously stupid prices on eBay for IBM JX software. So whenever that JX stuff goes up on eBay, yeah, please don't bid against me.
I was wondering whether you were selling that, Anthony.
No, it's not me. No, so if you look, for those who don't know, there's a web page called the IBM JX information page. I've already put all the software I've already bought online. So I don't care if you guys bid against me, but I want the documents scanned and I want the software imaged and placed online. So if you're going to bid on it, let me know. I won't bid on it and you can get a better price. Otherwise, I'm just going to go all the way. Other than that, not a whole lot. 2021 has not been a great year. Hopefully it gets better. Next, anyone else volunteer to tell me what they're doing?
Well, I mentioned before that I recently had that 5160 up on the bench that you might have seen the video of. Since then, I've managed to get my hands on a proper CGA graphics card, so the EGA went, but now Peter Irwin's going to try and find me like a full-size original CGA card that would normally go in there. So that'll be nice. I'm waiting on parts like everyone. So I finally got around and ordered the 2C drive switcher from Big Mess of Wires, and I'm waiting all the components to build an S-Disc. There's a BBC Micro on the bench at the moment, which I've been playing around, connecting it to, making up a cable for the RGB to HDMI device, and got a turbo SPI for it, so it's a nice little micro SD storage solution. And other than that, plans for the future really are, I'm waiting on the weather to heat up, to warm up again, because it's fucking cold in Canberra at the moment, for to get to start on my micro bees, because I promised Adrian Black like 2 years ago that I would finally get to my micro bees, and then I promised again it would happen this year. But a lot of it, at least, okay, one is not even yellow, it's orange, so it's probably going to end up with paint as opposed to retro brighting. And I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with them on that. I still need to order a keyboard from Ewan. And Ewan, did you mention that there was going to be another run of the premium top boards?
Yeah, I did. I've got the key switches to order. I've been held up on a few things, getting those ordered, just because I've had a lot of assembly service stuff to do, and the cash flow was required for that, unfortunately. So that is on the cards for the next few weeks. I can order the key switches to go with those. and they're the major purchase really that's stopping those, because I've got to order 8,000 to 10,000 pieces at a time. The rest of the stuff, the PCBs that go into the keyboard kits, I can get at any time. They're nice and cheap, and take a week's lead time sort of thing.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just vaguely remember chatting to you ages ago about that you're going to do another run of the premium, the top board.
Oh, yes, the Premium Plus core board.
Yeah.
I have actually started ordering components for that. I've got the circuit boards in stock now. Waiting on.
One of these is what you're looking for?
No, we're not talking about that at the moment. But that was the previous bit, the keyboard replacements.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the core board for the Premium Plus, Alan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You got one of those handy that you can flip out?
No, they're out in the shed, and I'm not going out there. It's too bloody cold.
You have to sort of spare in the drawer. So
I have started ordering stuff to build up a batch of 10 of those at the moment.
Cool.
So,
all right, well, make sure you put my name at the top of the list. Other than that, that's kind of what's keeping me busy. Work's been a shit fight, so I've been a bit quiet lately. So, other than that, that's what I've been doing lately.
Cool. David?
Wow, it's all quiet.
I just remembered I had actually a lot of stuff since I think last time we had a Zoom meeting.
All right, tell us about it, Justin.
I think one of them. So I think when was the last one? Like start of the year.
It was December.
Yeah, it was December. Cool. I thought so. So actually, I have done a lot of stuff. So I think if anyone went to the Vintage meetup that was in February, they would have seen I had the PlayStation with the X Station in it, which is over here.
That was the day I crashed my car.
Unlucky.
Oh, God. Yeah, I came back from that. I went to Fountain Gate and drove into a parked car. A good day.
Of all things. So,
a stationary object.
Yep.
The worst kind. So basically, if you open it up, it's that inside it.
What is that?
That is the X Station. So there's like an SD card here.
Oh, so no spinning disc.
There's no spinning disc, yeah. So that's the SD card there.
Did you have that at the show?
Yep. It was hooked up with the gun, the light guns.
Okay, so I didn't notice it because I thought it was just a PlayStation, so I didn't notice it was anything fancier.
Yeah, well, yeah, it looked the same, so makes sense. Then there's this screen here behind me, which is nearly fixed. As you can tell, I can't really see that far down, but you got the power, but then they had the fixed cable coming out of the back, and they cut that back, so I had to work out what the pinout was from the actual board, and the way they did it is a bit weird. So normally you put all your logic like in the bottom, and then you just have like kind of your CRT base board for just the signal. What actually happens is the signal comes in to the CRT board at the back, and then they relay it down into the logic board on the bottom, and then they have cables coming back up for the actual CRT signal. So I opened it up and I'm like, that was odd.
What's the monitor? Just a standard
Compaq 473.
So it's just a VGA monitor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they've designed it a bit strange. So there's that. I picked up parts. So you probably saw this before. That was just the Mac Plus board.
There's a kid in a plastic bag behind you.
Wait, yeah, that. No. So there was someone has all the parts for a Mac Plus for sale. Wait, stop it.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to mute Justin for a minute and move on to somebody else. All right. next, please.
I'll put my hand up. I've been going through a bit of a building phase, so I ordered a whole heap of kits in the last year or two, but haven't got around to building them. But slowly started putting them together. So this one's a Kim clone out of America. So a clone of the Commodore Kim 1.
Is that surface mount or not?
No, there's one surface mount chip just right there for USB connectivity.
How much?
I did a bit of a deal with him because I already had most of the chips, so he just sent me some of the stuff. I think I got change out of 200.
Oh wow!
So it wasn't too bad. But also there's ROM and RAM expanders and I/O expanders and all this other stuff you can get with it as well, and keycap sets which I haven't fitted yet. So I'm looking forward to finishing that off. One that I started quite some time ago. It's a recreation of the, and Jason will know this one, the ZX8081. And I just got the last parts for that actually yesterday. So
I promise the cases are not lost. They will eventually come.
I'm not having a go, mate. I've actually got to send you some crystals because the crystals finally arrived. So
okay, fair enough. No. They only just got the vacuum former working, so.
Oh, that's all right.
You could buy that $20 model that's on eBay. It would be perfect for it.
I offered him 10, but he wouldn't take it.
Does everyone know what we're talking about?
Yeah,
terrible.
And this little fellow, this wasn't a build job, but
nice.
This one I got a little while back. So
is that the Max?
That's the Max.
Yeah.
So
do we want to ask what you paid for it?
I don't really want to tell you what I paid for it.
Right. No. This is being recorded? Right, gotcha.
Oh, it's not that I'm a single man, so it doesn't really matter. But
that's not Jordan.
More than I want to admit to myself, anyway. But I'm just finishing putting together again. The parts came on Friday, so the Multimax cartridge.
Why don't you just buy it, man?
Look, they didn't come back to me. They didn't respond, but they had the Gerbers there, and it was 374s, a 6116, and a ROM. That's it. So a mate of mine punched out 5 boards for $5. So so I've got 4 boards that will be spare, and all the bits to make them. So and because I've got the Kim clone, I've also got the replacement boards for the dreaded. If anyone knows the early Commodore stuff, a lot of them had a chip that was input, output, RAM, and ROM all together, the 6530, and they always fail. And now there's.
Oh, you mean the TED chips?
No, not the TED. No, this is a RRIOT, a Riot chip.
Okay.
And they had different. You actually had a ROM. They were in a lot of arcade machines as well, actually, very early arcade machines. The Kim and some of the PET floppy drives as well. So the 2040, 3040. So someone's actually put together a board that does the whole thing using the still available 6532. I've got a few of those for the Kim and for some of the Commodore drives as well. So
got any spares?
Yeah. Yep, particularly for the Commodore drives, I've got 5 of those. So
I need to go have a look and see how many 6530s I've got.
Yeah, well, just if they're working, if they ain't broke, don't fix them. But if they are broke, I got a few out of Monotech. He does a really nice board that it's beautiful and small, and it just works for the drives. So
cool.
So that's about it for me.
Just very quickly, we were talking about chips that die, and I mentioned the TED.
Yep.
You remember a video I did last month of that little mouser, that USB
yes.
mouse? Anyway, so I was chatting to Pete from Retro Hacks over emails, the guy who actually sent that to me. And I said, oh, if you could add all these other computers to that, like, maybe like Mac, Apple II and stuff like that, that'd be awesome. He's like, yeah, development on the mouse has kind of stopped for a while because we're basically recreating the TED chip. Because they're known to go.
Yep. I found,
really...
was it Mutant Caterpillar over in the UK unearthed a new supply of them. He was selling them off for, I think, £15 each.
Wow.
I bet they lasted about 10 seconds.
Well, as soon as I heard about that, I was on there. I got 3 or 4 for myself. So,
yeah. But they die. I mean, they're nearly as bad as C64 PLAs. So,
they're worse.
Yeah, no, they are. Anyway, so they're working on a modern replacement for the TED chip.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
That, and if they could do, I mean, they've already done an 8501 replacement. I think Adrian Black did an 8501 replacement for the
with the 2 gals?
With the 2 gals, yeah, because those 8501s, they run red hot.
Yeah. That's why everyone heat sinks them these days.
Yeah, I was lucky. I've got about 10 left of new ones, but but yeah, otherwise you just can't trust them.
No. Anyway, I just thought you'd be interested in that.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
I should sell my +4 for £15 and make a profit. someone just ripped the TED chip out of it then.
Mate, for £15, I'd buy it off you.
Very good. So what else has everyone else been doing?
Yeah, I can give a bit of an update. So not since the last meeting, but this year's been really crazy from a collection perspective. One thing I like about 8-bit computers is they're actually tiny, but this is probably my latest pride and joy, the Auric Atmos. So, and the story behind that, because I originally got the Auric 1 with the chiclet keyboard, and you sort of like dip your toes into the drug addiction, and once you get the Auric, you want the Auric Atmos. So I got that and got that all up and running, but I'm actually waiting on a device called the Commander Reborn, which is the floppy drive emulator for it. So, because at the moment, although I can load stuff from cassette, it is very, very painful and very, very finicky from it. But probably the biggest thing that's been happening was started going back into the Roland devices with the old 486 games, the Sierra Online, etc. And Anthony and I have actually spoken about that. So this year I picked up a Roland MT32 as well as a SC88, which is basically a predecessor to the SC55. For all of my Sierra MIDI goodness. And it was actually really interesting because I had set it up the way the seller had told me to, which was to daisy chain it with MIDI in to MIDI out, and then just run audio out from the second MIDI device into my speaker. And I suppose my ears not being used to the Roland sound, I posted up a video going how proud I was of the 2 MIDI devices, and someone popped up and going, "Your sound's wrong." I said, "What do you mean it's wrong?" I said, the sound's coming out of the SC88, not your MT32. So it turned out that I needed a splitter box to actually, and no one told me this, I had to work this out myself, but I needed a splitter box to actually get the sound out. So for 2 blissful weeks of ignorance, I'm sitting there going, I've got these 2 great MIDI devices, and I was actually only outputting sound from one of them. So it's a little bit embarrassing, but that was there. And Jason and I were sort of playing around with, on the Ataris, the Sophia 2 chip, which is a GTIA replacement to get HDMI, RGB output through a DVI connection on the Atari. So that was actually a lot of fun, drilling into cases and replacing chips and whatnot. And so the Atari is actually rapidly becoming one of my favorite computers of that era, actually, because I never grew up with them. So so that's a very abridged version of all the other stuff I've done, because I've got other things on the cards too, Acon Electrons, MSX. Picked up a Spectra Video SV318 as well a couple of weeks ago. So that was a lot of fun. Again, never played with the Spectra Video before, so getting that all up and running as well. No, that's me. Anyone else?
Sorry, Andrew. Yeah. Sophia, what machine is that in?
It's in my 800 XL, but the Sophia I think will work on pretty much every machine on the XL and XE series. It won't work on the 400.
Have you got a FujiNet device yet?
I haven't, but
Jason was ordering
Jason,
them.
Yeah, Jason Macari from Melbourne's ordered one, so I've actually got one from him, or getting one from him.
They're awesome.
Actually, they arrived yesterday, if you're interested.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so I'll probably pick it up this week then sometime. But I am waiting on the 1 meg update inside 3 as a single cartridge.
Oh, cool.
I have been thinking of actually just getting the 1 meg upgrade, but apparently the cartridge is coming out, so that's a perfect all-in-one.
Yeah, I bought the Ultimate 1 megabyte a year ago. It's still sitting in the box.
Yeah,
just couldn't. I actually had a question. Is there anything that really uses it?
Demos.
Right.
Demos.
Okay. Other than demos, is there anything that actually uses it, like modern homebrew? Or...
Windows XP.
Most Atari homebrew is 128K. It's only demo stuff that really goes beyond it. I mean, I'm happy with my 130XC other than the keyboard. Basically, for that, I can play that stuff perfectly fine.
I mean, because I've got a FujiNet coming from Jason as well, and so I was kind of going, do I put the 1 meg in? Like, do I? Well, it sounds like Anthony's got a spare, but I'm just starting to think. I mean, the 800 XL seems to do everything I've thrown at it. So
the only thing you'll find is when you get the FujiNet device, you'll suddenly get access to all these libraries of software.
Yeah.
And you can't run half of it because you haven't got the Ultimate 1 megabyte installed. I found that straight away. So I got my and for those who don't know, the FujiNet is pretty flaky on an Atari 800 stock, but if you use it on an XL, it's fine. So, but an 800 stock, which is what I wanted to run it on, because the 800 stock is one of the most beautiful computers I've ever seen, and unfortunately, it's pretty crap on an 800.
Right. Well, I got the XL, but I don't know. Maybe I'll invest in the 1 meg. We'll see what happens. Sounds like you've got a spare.
Sounds like a perfect solution.
So what is it? It's just a 1 meg RAM upgrade in a cartridge.
Oh, and also a IDE drive SD solution.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm pretty happy with my S Drive Max. I think it's a great device.
Once you get a FujiNet, you don't give a crap about the S Drive Max. Yeah, that is. I don't even use this anymore because the FujiNet kicks its butt. It's amazing.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, so something to look forward to this week then.
Yeah, FujiNet's amazing.
What about doing the incognito for your 800? Do you reckon that'd make it less flaky?
My only problem with I don't want to butcher my 800. I just don't want to risk it. So I like leaving it as stock as possible because it's a beautiful machine and I don't want to make any modifications to it.
Do you have an XL?
Yeah, I got heaps of XLs.
Okay, well,
I'll just butcher an XL. I don't care about that.
Yeah, screw around with that and keep the original 800s.
Yeah, the original 800 can stay stock.
Yeah.
Just make sure the 800 has a Star Raiders in the left cartridge port and you're all set. Have one machine just set up just for Star Raiders.
Absolutely. Who's next? Come on, Pat.
I haven't done anything particularly interesting. I've recapped some motherboards and some power supplies, working on a Sun IPX power supply. I've been acquiring a bit lately, doing that sort of thing where you go get computers you had when you were a kid. Probably the most interesting things I've acquired recently, Chicken Man. I got a Amust Executive 816 just now. I paid over the odds for it.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to be in contact with you because I need to hoover up your software supply there.
Yeah, no, we've got all the 6 original discs that were issued with it.
I know you've done some conversions though, so
yeah.
But which I'd be interested in as well.
Well, it uses the 18.3A terminals, which is exactly the same as what the Micro B uses. So I can move, standard CPM programs over games like Zork 1, 2, 3, etc. And they run on the Amust.
Yep. So in the same portable category, I also got a TI portable professional computer, which I know there's been a few YouTube things going, is the Sanyo 775 or the SX64 the first portable with a color screen, but I'm pretty sure the TI portable professional computer was, because I think it came out in '83. So it's a IBM not fully compatible clone, so a different BIOS. But it's quite quirky actually. It's got a 9-inch color screen that does 720 by 300 with 8 colors. Very unusual, and actually even more astounding for that time frame. It has 768K worth of RAM. But I mean, the thing is enormous, and you could weigh a boat down in the harbour with it. But I had both those when I was young, so I've just reacquired those. Another interesting thing that I got recently, I'm still waiting for it to turn up from Lithuania, but I bought so you know how the Eastern Bloc countries did a bunch of like ZX Spectrum kind of rip-offs. So I got something that wasn't one of those. I got a PDP-11 based desktop computer. So I just thought, this is too crazy. I got to get it. And so it's an Electronica BK0010, whatever that means. I have a mate at work who speaks Russian, so he's going to help me work it out when it eventually arrives, because keyboard Cyrillic, all the all the ports are these. I can't remember how many plugs.
Like 6-pin DIN plugs, and they're all identical. Yep.
Yes, and I wouldn't know
why they did that, but all the
hilarious.
Russian computers are like that.
Yeah. So anyway, apart from that, yeah, just trying to manage the storage of all my computers. So spending a bit of time shifting a few things around in my storage cage. So,
anyway. Pat, was it $20 for the actual PDP and $2,000 to actually ship it down here?
It wasn't too bad actually. I'm just trying to work out if I sent it via somewhere, whether I sent it directly to Australia. But
shipping isn't horrendous out of.
I think it was only $50 actually in there, $50 US. But
hey Pat, is this unit one of the fairly small PDP-11 clones, or is it a massive one?
Yeah, no. It doesn't look like an MSX, but it kind of looks like something like that.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, very odd.
Pat, and it's irrelevant because I know they're all super rare anyway. But I thought the Osborne 1 was the first all-in-one computer.
No,
I'm talking colour.
I'm talking about a colour portable.
Oh, colour. Okay.
Yeah.
Pat, did you end up getting an LCO flash?
What was that? Yeah. No, I bought 2 actually.
Yeah.
I just felt that because I had waited a long time for it to come up again, and I just thought if I no, I just figure if one dies, So anyway, that's probably about it for me.
James, do you have an LTO flash yet?
No.
You should get in on. There's only like 4 left in the world, so you should get one because people like me and Pat are going to hoard them all.
2's fine.
No, I was just going to say my latest one's not hardware, but I've just recently purchased a book on programming games for the Intellivision.
I've seen that on eBay. Like, it comes up all the time, and I'm like, is that actually a real book?
It is a real book, yeah. It's version of so it's not the original Intellivision Basic that was on the computer module. It's a recent rewrite, so you have proper commands for everything.
This is Inti Basic. This is Inti.
Yep,
Basic.
Inti Basic.
Yep.
Proper commands and run on an emulator. So just learning everything that I really struggled to learn as a child. Now that I actually work as a programmer, I can go back and properly understand all the books I used to read.
Will you give us a review when you're done reading it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because I've seen it and I've just thought, I wonder if it's actually worth a read because it'd be great to write some games.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Have to say, James, Burger Time on the Intellivision, awesome port. I really like it. I like the Intellivision. Full stop. So great little unit.
Yeah. Oh, that was the game that played a lot with Dad, and he never liked that I always beat him at it.
Yeah. For those that own your televisions, do you find the RF absolutely amazing compared to the 2600?
Yeah, the RF's great.
Yeah.
I'm blown away how good, how sharp and crisp the RF is on your television compared to like the my 2600, the four switcher.
I tell you what computer really blew me away with its RF signal recently was the TI.
Oh.
Yeah, the 994A. Because I didn't have the original cables, I only had the RF modulator. And yeah, I'm just like, I'm not even sure if I'm going to mod that. Of course, I did mod it, but yeah, TI 994A, really good RF signal. Go
It's
figure.
about the only thing it's got going for it.
So Jason, you know, on Adrian's Digital Basement, he's on his second channel. He's got those Sony TVs that he's been. I'm not sure if you watched it. He's been storing. So I've got. If anyone ever remembers the publication, the Home Computer course, back in the 80s, the very first the very first issue has this Sony television on the front cover. I've got that exact television. And the only reason why I keep it is because of the RF in, so that if any of the old machines like the Spectrums or the TIs or whatever, I need to actually tune into RF, I can the Ataris. I use that just for that one purpose, actually, to have the RF tuner for it. Plus, it's a cool looking machine as well. Love the little Sony form factors of the Trinitrons back in the 80s.
Yeah, I got an old Sanyo TV that I keep around for that exact same reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a very late Trinitron CRT TV, but it's a digital tuner, so it's never quite as good as the old analog tuners.
Cool. Stuart, what have you been doing?
All right. I haven't been doing much. I bought a few bits and pieces. I can show you some of the stuff I got. I was at the op shop the other day before lockdown, and I saw this in mint condition for
oh, nice.
It was $10. Now the belt's gone in it, so that it doesn't turn the tape around. So I'll have to get a belt for that, and I believe that's the one that matched my Model 100. And then to go with the Model 1, I got this one of these, which is also the original
very nice.
one. This one looks like it's been stored in a I don't know, chicken coop for 6 months or something. But I gave it a bit of a clean up, and I haven't turned it on just yet. One of the other things, I'll just move my camera down here. So this beast here is a power supply out of, and for the size purposes, my mouse out of power supply out of my floppy drives for my PDP-11. So I recently got a twin 8-inch floppy drive for my PDP, which is very massive. It's got a big, massive circuit board. It opens up, and so that's a full 19-inch rack setup to go in the machine I've got down here. What else? Haven't really done much. I've just acquired a few bits and pieces. I've only started just recently, but I just for fun, I wanted to make up a valve amplifier using old IBM vacuum tubes. So that's actually an IBM vacuum tube from an old mainframe, and this is like a $60 valve amp. It's like a preamp, but so I want to I've got a fair few other valves. So I want to make up a vintage valve amp using, mainframe valves, which I thought would be pretty cool. I got that recently, which is I already had this one, but I got the printer for that. So that's another one for my
one of Ian's favorites.
TRS-80 collection. It's nice. Apparently there's someone online that actually makes the replacement LCDs for them. And I've actually got another. I bought this with the actual computer as well. Let's put the camera over here somewhere. But the one that come with it, the LCD was stuffed. But I wanted the printer, and I don't know, people don't seem to sell the printers separately.
It'll be a modern IPS or something that goes.
Oh, look, he's got Roy's got a LCD. Is that a replacement, Roy? I think he's telling us that's a replacement, but he's not saying words.
Yes, it is. It's a modern replacement that you can install, which I've been meaning to do, but haven't tried yet.
Oh, cool.
And that's for the first one, the PC one.
Yes, this is the PC one.
Yeah, okay. So I've got two PC ones, one that needs an LCD and one that's mint. But from what I've heard, they leak. So the one that's working perfectly, probably not sure how long it'll work perfectly for.
Ian's
But,
got plenty of experience with that. Ian, what would you have to say?
The pocket computers.
PC1 screens.
Yeah, get yourself some spare screens while you can get them. We were never able to work out what conditions you stored those things in. Some look terrible. Some look terrible, and the screen's perfect. Other people have put them in temperature controlled, closets for decades and never even used them, and the screen goes black. So they're a pain. Those things. I've got one that's got a perfect screen, but I'm not daring to put batteries in it and see if it takes the screen out with it. But yeah, clearly the Sharp who made those things didn't design them to be running 40 years later. And it's good that the aftermarket has come to the rescue with the replacement.
the guy that's made them though, and you can buy them. I can't remember where you buy them from, but I'm wondering if once he's out of stock, they're out of stock. I actually went to buy one and I accidentally bought the PC2 by mistake. So I'm guessing, because I looked at some video about how the guy did it, and he, obviously spent a lot of time to remake an LCD. It's pretty. I mean, he didn't make it; he got it made, but it's pretty impressive that he got it to work though. Yeah. Other than that, what else have I been doing? I've been collecting a few bits and pieces, some literature and stuff. I found this one the other day at a junk shop, which I thought was pretty cool. Was it September '79? Electronics Australia.
That's a good one.
In mint condition, so it's got the it's got the sort of the main sort of computers that were around at that period. So that's
one in the upper right hand corner, Stuart.
That one there.
Yeah, I can't tell what it is.
Yeah, it's just a Terrace 80 Model 1.
Oh.
I don't know if that, Ian, is that like a desk that you could get from Tandy, maybe?
Yeah, that was one of their cheap overpriced desks.
A cheap overpriced desk. Well, I bet you it would be overpriced now if you could find one.
They're a nice looking desk, but they're hugely overpriced for what they were.
Yeah. Yeah, another one, March 1980, which is pretty cool. That's got a CompuColor 2 computer on it, which I'm not sure how rare they are in Australia. I would like to get one of these. There's a CompuColor and there's a CompuColor 2, but I'm not sure if they're ever sold in Australia. It's hard to say. And the problem is if you do get one that's not sold in Australia, and it's probably NTSC. Actually, someone was saying before about RF. I've got this. I've got this tally, which is a. Come back. There you go. Sanyo. So this is this is an old CRT, but it's brilliant quality. And I've got a VGA to composite adapter and a composite to RF adapter. And I tell you, it's mind-blowing the quality you can get. 576i can actually look amazing. And I reckon some of this RF modulator issues that people say, I think the tally has to be good as well. The picture on this is unreal. I use it to watch. I've got a Laserdisc player, VHS, and other bits and pieces. And I thought the other day I was watching some YouTube out in the garage here, and I thought, I'll just try to get it on my second screen, and it looks pretty bloody good. So I think if you've got a good tally with a tuner, maybe don't mod your stuff. Now, that being said, I've got to connect my Atari 2600 up to it, because maybe the RF modulator inside the Atari 2600 is garbage anyway. Not sure.
Speaking of Atari 2600, about 6-7 months ago, you were doing programming in Atari 2600 with a view to getting your car.
I haven't done it yet. No, I've done nothing on that.
Okay, nothing's happened there. Okay, and how's your programming adventure going?
Well, I haven't done any more on it, to be honest, since we spoke about that last. I've been I don't know. I seem to not focus on any one thing for one amount of time, so I sort of jump from one thing to another. But I was going to pull apart tonight this thing which you guys have probably seen before. those things which you connect to
Spectrum
Atari.
Compumate.
Yeah, now I got a couple of those new old stock some years ago, but they didn't work. So I don't know if it was a bad batch or something. And
You haven't
so I need
missed
to
out
work
anything.
it.
They're bloody terrible.
What's that?
They're bloody terrible.
No, I know they are. But my first computer was that.
Oh,
with an
really?
Atari 2600. So I figured I wanted to get one to sort of, relive that experience. Yeah.
What was the experience like as you remember it?
Well, I remember it. Well,
did it hurt?
I would have been probably 14 or something like that. I would play games. I'd write a program and I'd save it to a cassette. And then what I used to do was put music cassettes in and just press play and just used to put all garbage on the screen. I thought that was lots of fun because it was a lot like hacking or something when I'm young.
Cool.
But no, I wanted to. It's one of those things. Someone else said it before. You want to sort of relive things that you did when you were a kid.
Oh, for sure. I just didn't realize anyone actually used those things. I didn't realize. I thought they were like an aftermarket thing that people didn't practically use. I didn't realize that people actually use.
Well, I mean, it is aftermarket. It's not Atari, but yeah. So yeah, that was my first computer. Well, my next one was, which I also had, someone said was a VZ300 or 200. I can't remember which one now, but I want to get one of those as well. But everything's going up. One other last thing I got here, because I like doing stupid things. Anything that's got a microprocessor in it and it's retro, I like to fuck with. So pardon the language. So that's an old Commander phone system, and that's actually got a little 4-bit micro in it. So I want to see if I can program that and connect it up to one of those ATAs and have it run VoIP, over something, or make it do something. But yeah,
cool.
So I saw that and it sort of fit in with all my other junk I got out here as a sort of 80s stuff. But yeah, anything that's got a microprocessor in it that's 8-bit, I like to, and a different variant of 8-bit is a bit of fun.
Awesome.
That's about it. I think I've got a couple of other bits of junk, but just been working pretty hard, even if it has been at home and at work on and off. Haven't had time to do much.
Thanks, Stuart. Really
no
good.
Worries.
Next.
Ian?
Go Ian.
Hey.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I've got to get back into doing these computer swap meets. So it's sort of been a bit... well, we started out the year with good intentions, but it fell by the wayside not pretty quickly. But I was looking into organising something for today, actually, but the problems surrounding the Melbourne lockdown number 4 conspired to not have that proceed. Alan, you're trying to say something, but you're muted.
Yeah, it's more than 25 kilometres away to anywhere from there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're not locked down anymore.
No,
right. Yeah, I know. And so I'm hopefully going to get back to those in July, I reckon. So and I think we've gotten most of the public holidays and Sunday the Sunday things which make it difficult, like Mother's Day or Easter or whatever. While they're available to go to the computer swap meets on those days, I don't think we'd have a really good patronage. So that's why I tend to shy away from holidays like that.
Yeah, there's actually been nothing from One Turner. Actually, haven't had a swap meet for a few months.
No, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know whether they're going to have one next month, or I don't know why they've been closed, because the first Sunday of the month there's been no.
Are you talking about the One Turner, the drive-in?
No, it's at the.
It's at the.
That's a COVID testing at the moment there. So.
Yeah, well, I've been for a couple of times to the Keysborough computer swap meet. I've been meeting a gentleman there who's been sort of slowly selling me some stuff.
Yeah, well, that's
that he's offloading, and that's probably even closer to you guys. So that's a potential one if the One Turner one turns out to to not return. So yeah,
that'd be good.
That's the Springers Leisure Centre, isn't it?
yes, that's the one. Yeah, yep. It's not bad, easy to get to, not far from the freeway, even for someone like myself. So yeah, and I've just been sort of doing the mind-numbing job of cleaning up around here during lockdown. It's given me a chance to strip out all these beige boxes that have been piling up, trying to find anything that's worth anything out of it. Been fixing a few motherboards by replacing capacitors, but they're often a case of diminishing returns when you're talking about ATX motherboards. Some of them have one capacitor and you replace it and they're good, but some of them I open up and actually every capacitor on the board is bulging, so that one goes straight in the e-waste. So that's what I've been working on, and hopefully find some more AT era stuff once we're allowed to drive further than 25 kilometres. So that's really all I've been doing.
With any luck, that'll be this Thursday.
Yes. Yeah. You got yourself some new wheels, Anthony?
No, the same wheels that I crashed into a car.
Okay.
That was a terrible day. Terrible day.
Was a good day. Okay.
Ian, there's a crisp $20 note if you ever find a Gravis ultrasound in any of those computers that you're pulling apart.
$20.
I can
$20.
I can safely say that you can keep that $20 because.
and Ian, ad-lib gold in there. There's $5 in it for you.
much as I'd like to sell one for $20, unfortunately, this mansion I live in doesn't pay for itself. So I think the last Gravis I had, I got about 300 for. And it's funny in America, it's one of those things that in America goes for more than they go here. But I know why you want one. They're definitely an interesting card, particularly in emulation mode.
No, I actually owned a Gravis and I actually sold my 486 with the Gravis ultrasound for like $50 with a monitor back in the late 1990s. And you want to talk about living with regrets? That's one of them. So anyway.
Oh, look, we could go around the table here. Everyone of us would have all sorts of regrets.
Hey, Anthony, wasn't your ad-lib gold on LGR?
Sure was.
Yeah, I have to pull the video and rewatch it.
Yeah, it was like the shot of the auction.
It's not the auction was there, but the other thing that's really interesting is mine was probably the most complete. So I archived all the software and the manuals, and it's on archive.org. I actually still have. I found this. You won't believe it. Here is the letter from AdLib when I and inside this letter is how much I paid for it in 1992, $224.95. Wow. So AdLib Gold 1000, and I sold it for only $5,000.
And the worst part about that is you used all that money to fix your car when you smashed it into another car.
No. I used it to pay off my mortgage, which is a great thing to do with money for a car that sits on a shelf and has no value except have its capacitors eventually fail. So I can look forward to recapping that board.
Hey, I got a question. Ian, you might know about this because of what you do. I watched this guy on YouTube, E-Waste Ben, and he went to some deceased estate that was full chockers of computers. I don't know if anyone watches this guy on YouTube. You didn't?
I saw that video. The video was posted.
Yeah. So look, that guy E-Waste Ben, okay, he's recycling stuff, but sometimes I cringe because he destroys everything. He does collect stuff, but you didn't hear about that one at all, Ian? Well, you can't say.
No. I mean, I think he's one of the gentlemen who advertises on Gumtree, free e-waste pickup. So he's going to get a lot of stuff. He's going to get a lot of stuff going through. Is what I would imagine. Probably gets it for next to nothing or nothing. And if he's smart enough to be able to separate out the valuable stuff from the non-valuable stuff, then he could actually.
He has a bit of an idea, but not much.
Yeah, because it looks like he knows.
He was just about to rip about a wombat apart.
Rip a what apart?
Oh, yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
The wombat, yeah.
So there's a YouTube channel called E-Waste Ben, and
Yeah,
he
that's the
recently,
one.
That's the one. Yeah.
look that up.
Yeah.
He had some. There was a few. This house had hundreds and hundreds of computers, and outside there was a pile, and I think there was a pile. He got, I think, at least 2 or 3 5150s that were IBM 5150s that were just. And then when he got them back, he just left them outside in his laneway. Now he should realise that he's going to get more from selling them on eBay than, than ripping them apart. That being said, I haven't seen his house or garage. Maybe it's full, and maybe he will sell it, but. It's a shame for some of the things. I'd rather him sell them and make some money than they get trashed out because he's going to make more money.
Do we know who this guy is? Do we know this person?
E-Waste Ben. He's got a website and he's got a YouTube channel. I don't know. I just thought I'd mention it in case.
Because he might be in the group. I'm just wondering if we know this guy.
No, he's not. I've sent him a message on Facebook, not Facebook, on YouTube, and he has put aside some gear, but he doesn't have a good idea, and he needs someone in Melbourne to really guide him through what he's got there. He's down in Melbourne, so yeah.
Cool.
I'll have a look at it and see. I mean, I knew one place that had hundreds of computers they wanted to get rid of, and they're talking to me about this time last year to try and get me to go down there and make an offer on it all, but I ended up not following it up and lost contact with them, and it sounds like the sort of thing where then it just ends up going to a deceased estate place that who'll clear it out the quickest. So.
Well, this was a deceased estate, this house, and it was a definite hoarder's house. But he gets, he does a lot of scrapping just on the sidewalk, like people throw rubbish out. But I think he'll get people ringing him up and saying, "Oh, we've got all these old computers now." There's a lot of computers that none of us would want, but then there's a lot of the vintage stuff you see that, this is crap, I'll get rid of it. Maybe he just gets so much volume that he's like, only keeps them. But yeah, that Wombat one, he was at the decal on the front, he just sort of ripped it off because it was hanging off, and I'm like, no. But and I think, so I think Wombat, that was like an Apple II clone, wasn't it?
Yeah, Australian Apple II clone.
Yeah. So look, and that's the thing. Even if you say to him, even if he sells it and he makes more money, it's just maybe we need to reach out to the guy.
Yeah, he has on his YouTube videos, he has his email address actually on there. So I was thinking of emailing him for a couple of items. Like he was pulling apart a PS2 the other day, and he's going to say, "Oh, we ripped the fingers off the back of these drives," and all the gold fingers for the interface. Yeah. So he's just going to junk the drives totally.
Yeah, but I think if he's got that much volume, he seems to be, because I like watching him, or half of them I listen to it in the background, he seems to be the guy who'd probably be like, "Oh, you come around," or something like that. I don't think he'd be fussed, but the thing is, for him to list it online, it's a big job because he's got so much stuff. So unless
that's what he's saying, yeah. He actually was reaching out in a couple of videos asking if anyone was in Melbourne that could help him go through some of it. But he doesn't get a lot of the old gear, but he does get a bit from time to time. So he does have a basic idea, but a lot of it's, yeah.
The thing is, though, is the old gear, the money he gets from scrapping it, if you just, as a group, we could, probably buy it off the bits, nearly everything he has old, for not much money, and he's going to make more money than he will from...
I think he'd be open to it from what he's saying in his videos, but... Yeah, it's just that he does get in a lot of volume, so he's got to clear it out. He can't hold on to it forever. So you've just got to get in there before he does get in and scrap it all down. And by the sounds of it, he wants to get rid of a lot of it in the next couple of months, next month or so.
When you look at his
Sounds
videos,
like a job for Ian.
Yeah, but when you look at his videos, though, he's got a sort of a laneway down the side of his house to walk down. Well, maybe it's his driveway, but because there's a garage there. But it's always stacked to the neighbour's fence high of computers, and it's changing constantly. So, and he does keep some stuff. But look, I know Ian, you're more into TRS-80 stuff. I've never seen him wreck any or even get any TRS-80 stuff. So,
well,
what did you say the group is?
It's all the latest Melbourne weather. I'm sure that it's in great condition.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, well, I've seen stuff sit outside for years, and as long as it's not sitting in water, they're generally okay.
Some of the e-waste places I used to go to pre-COVID, I know they kept all their computers in stillages out in the open, and so if it had been torrential rain in Melbourne, it basically wasn't worthwhile going for the next 2 weeks because everything was waterlogged and pretty much anything that had any value. I think they other people had kind of picked it. But
well, if you go just after it rains, maybe it's okay because it hasn't had time to rust yet. You know what I mean? But a couple of weeks later, it's going to be rusted. But
yeah, no, I don't know. I'll chase this guy up. I'll have a look and see. I have the luxury of being able to go out during normal business hours and visit people. I don't hold down a regular day job anymore.
Oh my God! Yeah, there's the 3 weeks ago e-waste pickup update, and there's the wombat on the page. Yeah, there you go.
Makes you want to cry.
No, he's got an indigo there as well. I think it was or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, does he know this group exists? Like, 'cause if he could just know, he just pastes some pictures and we give him an honest price, he might turn around, and actually give a crap. Or maybe he doesn't know it exists.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in the loop,
Yeah. Because there's other guys on the group who don't really know anything about retro computers who are happy to post stuff, like the PCs for Kids guy. He's happy to post stuff that he thinks we might be interested in. And half the time we are interested. So, yeah. I mean, he'd have to come across a fair bit. That's his job.
Cool. So, moving on, what else is everybody up to? What else has everyone been doing? There's a couple of people that have spoken.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask Jason the question. Speaking of e-waste, Jason, you did me a favour and picked up some e-waste from me in Canberra. Was that an IBM? Was there an IBM as part of that, or was that just a PC clone? Do you remember from the stuff you picked up for me?
Did you see my last video?
Oh, there you go. Yes, it was an IBM then. There you go.
Yes.
Glad to be able to help out then.
Yeah, no, that from that lot, that was the ACS office clearing out. What did I get from that? There was the
1084.
There was the 5160. There was actually a Mac portable in there, but it's dead as a door. It's absolutely dead as a door now. So don't get too excited. There was a 2C, which is the one that went to Mark. There was a 1084 monitor, which went to Randall. I didn't actually end up picking that much of it. There was the Amstrad monitor. That was the big thing that I wanted from that, was the color CPC monitor, which is very cool.
I've got the matching TV tuner if you want it, because it's just sitting here just collecting dust in my place. It sits underneath.
Is it an MP1 or an MP2?
Sure.
Hang on, if you give me 1 second, talk amongst yourself, I'll check it out for you. Give me 1 second.
All right.
I want to show something off that I got the other day, and I don't think any of you would have one, I suspect. Let's spin the camera around. Do you know what that is?
It's
you
an
don't.
Atari. What's
it?
it? The disc, laser disc drive or something, isn't it? Or a CD drive for it?
Yeah, can you see that?
What?
Got to focus. Is it an Atari? It is
Very,
Atari.
very rare
CD-ROM
item.
drive?
Very rare. Yeah, very rare item.
Is that Dragon's Lair for Atari, is it?
No, it's the CD-ROM drive for Atari STs that was never released.
That's the one.
For some reason I thought it was Laserdisc. It looked bigger than that, but yeah.
No.
Cam, what are you using? A Nokia 3310 to record this?
No, it's just I'm in the middle of Tassie on my mobile.
Yeah, I can see the size of it now. Yeah, it looks bigger in the.
I found this stuffed in an old computer shop that I was posting on the group for a while. This was stuffed in a corner, and I'd never heard of it. And yeah, apparently they only made like 500 to 1,000 developer versions, and then never made it like for retail.
What's the model of that?
I'd love that.
That is an amazing find.
Here's the remote control. I thought I didn't find the remote control, but the control panel is the remote control. Held on with a
Does this play audio as well, or is it just for?
Yeah, you put that in. Clicks in. I think it's amazing.
So this plays audio.
Yep. So you can't really see because it's too dark here. But yeah, audio outs, data in and data out for that weird 13 pin. If anyone has Atari ST 13 pin cables, I'd love some because they're really hard to find.
Can you put in the chat the model
It's
number? I wouldn't
it's a
mind
19 pin, isn't it?
something to search
That one?
for, maybe. It wouldn't mind
It's
getting one of them.
it's a CDAR 504.
Yeah, I thought they were a 19 pin, the ASCI.
It's something weird. Hang on.
CEDAR
Yeah,
504.
I think you're right. It's 19 pin. Whatever the Atari ST hard
Yeah,
drive.
yeah. I've got one or two here somewhere.
Yeah, they're really hard to find.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But the weird thing is, it doesn't match an Atari ST. I mean, from an aesthetics point of view.
Not
It
really.
matches the PC3 and the PC line of Ataris, basically.
The
doesn't match
lights,
the ST.
the lights
Yeah,
are
strangely.
diagonal. So the lights are diagonal, the ST diagonal. It's a bit hard to see on my shit thing here, but that's all. Like the rest of it, yeah, it doesn't really fit in. It's not quite the same size as I got an Atari hard drive, and it's not quite the same size either. It is metal though.
Wow.
That's plastic. It's a bit yellow, but yeah, there you go. That's pretty weird.
So what did you pay for that, if you don't mind asking?
Zero.
Oh. Better.
Wow. That's not for sale item.
Give us 20 bucks for it.
Can I just interject for a second? Fuck you.
No, like, don't worry. I put in a fuckload of work. I put in about 30 hours of hard slog cleaning up an old computer shop. And this is kind of the best thing I got out of it, which is, it makes up for it. I got some CGA cards, some IBM sort
Someone wants that.
memory things. I got a bunch of random chips, and I got 5 SIDs in it. So that's awesome. So I didn't expect to get anything good out of that. So it was mostly just garbage. But then I just before I left the shop, I thought, well, I haven't looked in this corner. And I saw that just under a bunch of boxes. So there you go. I'm going to make a whole video on cleaning up the computer shop. It was like my own personal computer rescue. It was insane. So you'll see that soon.
Hey, Cameron, do you have a pool room?
Why?
It's going straight to the pool room.
Right. I like the old school rig out, the glowy
So the plug on the back, is that 15... so what series was it supposed to go into?
ST.
Normal ST.
Okay, so that's not the same plug as in a 400 and an 800, is it?
No, it's not that old. It's an ST. So I don't know if you can see that.
Oh,
but there's the
DB.
plugs on the
Okay, I
back.
thought you meant the weird one on the Atari 400s and 800s. That sort of
No,
SIO.
Yeah. No, it's definitely for
Very
Atari ST. I think
USB.
this is pre-STE even. I think this is like 87. As far as I know, it's one of the first CD-ROMs for normal retail computers ever, really. Like that wasn't an industrial CD-ROM.
It was very...
they just never released it, which is a shame because it's cool as. I've even got the original photo from the shop as he displayed it because he took a photo of it and the photos were in amongst all the rubbish. So that's really cool.
It's got to be worth something. If it's only 500, they'd be rare as hen's teeth.
Oh, I give them
Oh, yeah.
a grand for it now without even thinking.
Yeah. Put it this way, I looked up on eBay as you do, and they come up like once every 8 years.
There's one on there right now. There's one
Is
on
there
there
one
now,
for
and it's
sale on there right now?
$340 US. There's 13 bids on it.
Right.
I'll put it. I'll put
that
the
must
link
be
to.
new. That must be new because I haven't.
Put in the chat for you guys.
She'll bid
Right.
it. Drive the price up, Stuart.
I don't know
Yes.
if I'm going to buy it for that much. I've got too many other things I'm buying. This one looks a different colour. This is a white one, unless it's your lighting. Is it?
No, it's just normal beige. Like that's just normal PC sort of beige color, and then there's standard yellowing. Like it's supposed to be
the
the same
one I
color.
put on the face this chat thing on Zoom, it's a white.
Oh, really? Well, is it just not yellowed or?
I don't know.
Yeah, the top's very white. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. Like it's still in one piece. Like there's no scratches on it because obviously it's a developer kit basically. I suppose you can think of it.
May not ship to Australia. This one on eBay. So
I think the last one I saw sold for around $800 US.
Yeah. How long ago was that though?
Oh, about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Double
It'd be
that now.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, that's why I said I give you $1,000 without even thinking.
Yeah.
Just
Well, yeah. I put it this way.
Hey, do us a
This is
favor.
the weird thing about retro computers. Yeah.
Flip it over. Let me see the serial number. So looking at the one on eBay,
Not if there's a disc in it.
on
No,
one on
there's no
eBay
disc.
is serial number E1934 30150. So I'm guessing that that's number 150. What's yours?
Mine's 40.
Far out. Does it E1934
E1933 quadruple 40.
Oh, wow.
They probably denote the different power supply or something.
I'm wondering it's either power supply or they're separating markets. So 34 might be like the European market, 30 might be like the Australian market, but there's low numbers here, guys.
Well, I mean, this has obviously got a 240 volt power supply. It's got a hardwired power straight into an Australian adapter. So it's 240
this one on
volt,
the bottom
50
says
hertz.
version 1. What's CEDAR 504V1? Yours probably might even say, does it say anything?
V1.
Okay. Could have been V0 or no Vs or something. I don't know.
Made in Japan. 504 V1.
Yeah, V1.
So 240 volt, 50 hertz. So it's definitely the PAL /
Yeah, this one's 220 volt, 50 hertz.
Glad you saved that thing, that's for sure. Yeah, that's a piece of history there.
Well, this is very close to being chucked out, and I almost missed it. I was about to walk out the door.
No, don't chuck it out.
The funny thing about the remote is...
how did you work it out? Because it's not that obvious.
No, I thought I'd lost it. Then I Googled what the remote looks like because I still have access to the store. There's some stuff left. I thought, well, I might still find it. And then it's like, no, it's this. But you can't use it at all unless the remote has batteries in it, because this is the control panel to the unit.
And what sort of battery does it?
Because the IR sits right next to it.
Incredibly, the batteries were in there, just normal AAAs, and they didn't leak.
Oh, cool.
So that's amazing.
That's what they always said. Jack Tremill's Atari, best quality ever.
Oh, I just found a little knob that I didn't know it had. A little dial.
Oh, volume knob, yeah.
Might be volume for
your headphones.
The headphones, but it's underneath it. See, I've got it upside down. That's underneath. That's weird as. It must be for the headphones.
Have you played any discs on it? Works all right?
I haven't played a disc on it yet. Actually, I'll do that now. Just talk amongst yourselves and I'll set it up.
I think I like the beige colour better than the white one. I'm sure it's just...
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just weird that it doesn't match the Atari hard drive, so you can like stack them and whatnot. But,
No, it looks like a Sony form factor from the 80s. That when you look at it, my first one was a Sony device.
Maybe it's not. They didn't make it, and they just licensed.
If you pull it apart, it might have.
But it does have the diagonal lights
written on it. Yeah,
like it's pretty weird to have diagonal stuff like accents and stuff on your thing, unless you're Atari, right?
I'm pretty sure that I read that that's a Philips CD-ROM drive.
Yeah, there's nothing special about the actual, internals and whatnot, but it's only 1 speed, I think. So there you go. All right, I'm going to hook it up.
Does it actually have writing capabilities, does it?
No.
No, God, no.
We're thinking about a decade away from writing abilities.
Yeah, but it couldn't be any more than 1 speed. A computer wouldn't be fast enough to get the data.
All right, well, while he's doing that, why don't we find out what someone else has been doing? What have you been up to, Bob?
So for me, it's sort of been, things have been picking up, but really over the last month of interest, it's sort of been 3 things. I've been playing around with the RetroTink 5X upscaler. I've been a big fan of the previous line doublers that the guys worked on, and this is basically pretty much all of those in one, and also does 1080 up to 1080 and beyond. I'm probably going to do something on it at some point, because a lot of the coverage out there has been by Yanks on console stuff. I've been looking at it on computer side, and it's been mostly good and kind of bad for some cases, namely RGB over TTL. So I had problems with I tried my 128K Spectrum, and that failed just because the output doesn't quite fit. It's like TTL output from those machines, and it uses just normal, like over a SCART lead instead of like proper SCART voltages. But one of the things that really impressed me was I did grab some footage off my Apple IIc with it, and well, I was using that to throw in a video a little while ago, and just the plain composite output through the Apple modulator was actually really neat. So I'll just throw that in chat, and so that's just a bit of footage of Skyfox running on the 2C through that, and yeah, I mean, I've been testing a few other systems with it, like I did some stuff with the C64, my 48K Spectrum through composite, and most of that stuff was good with it. I've got to test more machines. I'd probably play around with the Amiga and some other stuff at some stage. But that does mean, like, if it didn't work with the Spectrum, it's probably not going to work with my Beeb. And I was actually, one of the things that's really good with it is it can do the resolution between, like, 288 lines progressive and 576 lines interlaced without dropping the signal, which is really good for capture. And so I was really looking forward to using this with my BBC Master, because then I could just, womp the RGB in and play something that switches between teletext mode 7 and a graphics mode without it dropping, because normally capture, that just messes up capture with other upscalers. But because of the thing with TTL input, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board a bit and find out what I can do on that front. Then the other thing that's been of interest is I've been messing around. That's an Ultimate 64 build that I just did this week, which is an FPGA C64 devised by the guy who designed the 1541 Ultimate SD cart. So it's basically like he's just got, instead of just having the cartridge that does the disk drives, that's the whole system. And it's mainly set up, I mainly did it for streaming, just because my table here is just kind of cramped to have the real machine and upscaler. This just has the HDMI output to go straight through. Why not we... Yeah, so I had it running. And one of the things I absolutely love is that you can just hit it overlays the display there. So when you want to mount a disc, so I was playing around with Revenge of the patched Revenge of the Mutant Camels. So I can go through and pick something. Let's put something new on. One of the things I love about the Ultimate is that you can just go carts, enter. Where are we? There we go. Softforce, which is an amazing bit of work from a few months ago. And then we just tap the thing. You won't get the audio, unfortunately, because it's videos. This is all coming through. I have this setup that's going into the capture card, going to OBS, and OBS is a virtual camera going into Zoom, and that doesn't do audio, unfortunately, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, it's basically the C64. It's a bit nicer to use than like Mister, though Mister's nicer in other areas. So it's been just really convenient, fun to play with, and I'm going to be probably playing around with that a bit more, mainly for my streaming stuff, where I just play stuff and waffle about it during the week. And it's nice for me to be able to take to like group meets, because again, me lugging all this stuff on a train, it's just a little simple to have monitor, 64, power supply, HDMI cable, instead of having the upscalers along for the ride. The only other bit of interest is I've been collecting a bunch of driving games for the SC3000. So been grabbing these over the last few months. There's 5. This is video fodder. I've done these driving game look videos. I did one for the C64 last year, or 4 actually. Monaco GP. Some of them are the local Australian releases through John Sands. Monaco is Grandstand, so the NZ release. See the Grandstand logo above the Sega logo. A couple of them, a bunch of them are Japanese ones, so GP World is Japanese, is sort of a later release. Then Hang On 2, which is on one of those little my cards, which is, if you've ever seen, all right, let's get this. Really nice little packaging. It's like the little my cards, which you have the little adapter cartridge for. So probably gonna throw this up. What else then? Then Zippy Race, which is another one, which is a cart again, but it's just a smaller.
What was that thing that Nigel just held up?
Oh, the adapter card for the SC3000.
Yeah, the card catcher. Yeah, I've got that. That's
I've got the 3000H. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, same model I've got. But yeah, I've got the card catcher for that, so I'm going to eventually do something on that, though. the player used to do a tandem with a Sealig video for the Master System, and the Master System will be public, and that's the, hey, you want to support what I do bonus. That's really what I've been doing. Last month I did a video for Skyfox 2, which is why I've got my A500 set up. So I was grabbing footage from the Amiga version of that to go alongside the 64 footage. And I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do next. I'm going to really just try and power through and grab a bunch of Amiga games that I want to cover. Because I haven't done Amiga stuff for a while. So I'll leave the A500 while it's out. A500 if it's ACA 500, which dwarfs my coffee table, unfortunately. But that's the breaks to just make going through recording so much easier. I know some people are very much for the full legit experience, but it just drives me nuts if I had to swap discs and deal with all of that when I just want to capture a bunch of games to put together in a video. I'm already making sure I use original hardware for it, but the rest trying to optimize that is always a bit of a challenge. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing, just writing up stuff about old games and collecting some stuff. I haven't done any major hardware purchases outside of the U64 for ages, just because I've just been getting back on my feet after extended fun employment last year. So yeah,
Rob, I was watching telly last night. I was channel surfing just on free-to-air TV, and I went through to, I don't know what channel it was, but somebody was talking about some type of computer magazine or something, and it sounded like you. So you weren't doing anything on telly, were you?
I don't know. It's purely YouTube's for me.
Yeah, no, I just heard something. I thought, that sounds like that guy, the between the scan lines, and I'm like, I wonder if I have to ask him tonight. But
yeah, no, I wish. I wish.
It was only a brief thing that went past, and I just thought, there's some of those channels that, like what used to be
Channel 31.
Channel 31, yeah. So, yeah.
Rob, with the Amiga stuff you're doing, mate, have you thought about using the RGB to HDMI?
So I go RGB at the moment it's into my FrameMeister. So one of the problems I have with a lot of those solutions is the sound, because like those RGB to HDMI things, they're relying on you pulling the sound like out of the analog ports, and so you do that. Whereas I have RGB cable, RGB SCART lead, which RGB and the audio output. Yeah.
And did I hear you say you had the ACA 500 on your Amiga as well? Have you thought about going down the PyStorm route?
I don't see. I've read some of the stuff I've seen is the performance stuff messes up. Like I actually want for A500 stuff. I actually want proper 68K speed.
Yep.
Again, this is accuracy for representation. I got to get my 1200 going, so when I need faster Amiga stuff, I'd use the 1200. I've got to get someone to look at that.
Bruce.
Yeah, sending it up.
Either post it to Bruce or post it to Jeremy. That'd be your best bet. I've got a PyStorm. It's what it is. It's an accelerator for the rest of people. It's a work in progress. Yeah. There's a lot of. I think there is a lot of promise there. I think some of the benchmark results are a little
skewed,
synthetic. I don't think it's actually performing anywhere near as fast as what the SysInfo actually says it is. The RGB to HDMI though, now
that's very cool.
That one is very cool. And now this isn't a limitation of the Amiga one. It's a limitation of just the RGB to HDMI project is that it doesn't handle audio. If they were to decide to actually bring in audio into that device as part of the project, I think that would be fantastic. And the reason I actually go back to that, Rob, you mentioned a second ago that you're struggling with video out of your BBC Master.
Yeah, like the big thing is because you do the switch between like mode 7 and a video mode, like you just drop the signal and then you capture hardware just stops and stuff.
Yeah. Because you do realise that the RGB to HDMI project started with the BBC Micro. That's actually what it was designed for, was the BBC Micro. And then it got all the CJ and everything was kind of like, oh, well, it's digital TTL, so we might as well kind of keep going and keep going and keep going. But it was actually originally designed for the BBC Micro. And so that's actually one of the things I've been playing around on my Model B, is I made the cable because that's all I had to do, because I've got I've got one from Derek, and it's ridiculously sharp. Like, it's really, really nice.
Yeah, I think he's doing another run this weekend too, if I'm not mistaken. Because
It's really good. Even if you just buy it for like, because his are all branded for the Tandy or whatever, but it's just an RGB to HDMI with a 9-pin, a D9 plug on the end of it, and you just got to make up various cables for whatever you want to, you know, be it for your micro B prem or in this case the BBC Micro, and it works really well. I'm thoroughly impressed with it.
Yeah, just the audio sync would be the thing I'd have to play with.
You need some way of combining your HDMI video and your audio back in together.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the FrameMeister can't.
The FrameMeister does, but the problem is it can't. So the FrameMeister can't do it. Like if you do a resolution switch, that drops.
Yeah.
The RetroTIG, that's why one of the reasons I got it was because it can do it without the drop. It's just that because it can't accept TTL RGB over the SCART port, that's the next solution.
Right. See, what I was doing is I was because I was playing around with this yesterday just so I could capture some BBC. Now I just use a rubbish Elgato HD60. Right, it's nothing exciting whatsoever.
That's a solid. Like, I upgraded from that. I've got.
But it does have, the beauty of it is it does actually have audio line in.
Yeah.
So I can easily go BBC Micro to, well, I can't. This is a bad example. This was actually with my Amiga, because I can go RGB to HDMI, analog audio, feed it back into the Elgato, and bang, there's my capture.
Yeah. I mean, that might be a thing. Like, I've just got to investigate some more.
Seriously, just grab one. All I'll say is just grab one, because you can use it for all kinds of stuff. Like,
except I've invested a lot in other gear, so it's like,
yeah, fair enough.
that's when one's been doing this lark for like 8 years.
Yeah.
I've been 7 of capturing from real hardware and slowly incrementing, adding more systems over the years.
Rob, just treat everything like an investment. Hey, Rob, you said you got a Sega. I thought you might be interested in this. So this is, you can't really see it because of my blur, but brand new inbox Uno SC3000H. Never
nice.
been opened. Yeah. So, but I've actually got another Sega to play around with, and I've got the SC 1000 Mark 1, Mark 2, and Mark 3. Sorry, Mark 2 and Mark 3 on the game console as well. So I've got a lot of the cards as well for the Sega. Nice little units.
Yeah, I've been sort of having a bit of fun with it. Just not having. It's just been tough finding games. Like, most of those were all international because, of course, even though the thing itself here, not the whole library came out here. So, and yeah, so I'm hoping to do more of that as I can.
You've got the multi-cart from New Zealand, I'm assuming?
No, I've been because I only got my 3000 last year, and they haven't been in production. I've been following the survivors group to see if they are going to be, and it's just a case of getting that, and then getting them the means to actually to program the ROM with all the cart images.
Yeah. So yeah, I was lucky to pick one. I bought my SC3000 with the cart, so I suppose I'm pretty lucky now. I didn't realise they're actually out of production.
Yeah.
Rob's sitting there swearing.
No, it's more just pounding in existential despair.
Hey, Cam.
I wouldn't use mine, but that same thing. Haven't got one.
Are you good
to get software?
Yeah, I think I'm good to go. If anyone cares, that's where the batteries go in the remote.
Nice.
2 little
Did
double A's.
Did you get music running?
I'm about to smoke test it, so we'll do it live. Do it live!
Drum roll. Let's hope there's no magic smoke.
Well, it turns on, so I think that part is okay. So let's try her out. See, I was just curious. Like, that's an infrared transmitter, right?
Yeah.
So when you put it in there, there's no receiver underneath it, which is, I don't know how that works. I think they've got a little transparent window or something. Let's try it out. I've got era-appropriate music, a bit of Jean-Michel Jarre.
Oxygen?
Zuluk.
No, Zuluk.
Okay.
Let's see how responsive it is. I honestly wouldn't know. Is it going to work? Is it going to read the tracks?
Tracking.
Is it making sound?
If it doesn't work, I'll buy it off you.
$20.
100.
No disc. Yeah.
I think it must have blown up.
Just crash. I'll give it to E-Waste Ben. I'll get my waste Ben. What? Hang on.
It's gone from 20 to 15 now.
Hang on. Is it going to do it? I put a disc in it once, like before, like a few days ago, and it did come up with the track numbers. So maybe this disc is just not.
It's not some mode. You don't have to change it from computer mode to audio mode or anything.
No, there's a drive select on the back.
It doesn't look like there's many buttons on the remote. Was it stop,
No, it's
stop,
just
go?
stop.
Yeah, fast forward, rewind, or next track.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. Hang on, I'll have a look at the disc.
Time
here.
to try a different disc.
Disc looks clean. Hang on, I'll just listen for the sounds here. It's spinning. And it stopped. Wait. No, it's spinning. The suspense.
It's
shredding. Definitely spinning.
This could be
it's shredding, yeah.
major motion picture.
It's about to blow up.
Maybe you have to put the remote back in for it to work.
I don't know. Pressing the buttons. Oh, hang on.
Oh, whoa!
There's life. I had to press play. Here's an e-waste amp that I found in e-waste. I just asked them for it, and they said yes. Is it playing? And I think the reason is because it overheats. But well. All right, is it on? Next track. Oh, it's working.
Is it?
Yeah, hang on, I'll go to a more loud track. Yes. There you go.
And then the amp gives out.
Totally works.
Well done. You've seen it live here.
Seen it live.
$1,500 on eBay now.
He's got to sell it as tested working now, as opposed to untested.
How's the remote work? Press it next.
I'm sure Rob and I are just sitting here just going, shit, he's going to get a copyright strike.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I can't stop it. The remote.
I can hardly hear the music anyway, so it's,
No, I've been dealing. I got one of those this week on music that I licensed for a video. So I
How
file
does
in
this
it.
work, right? Like, so it won't work outside of the device. But if I put it in, maybe the batteries.
Put new batteries in it, or are they old ones?
I thought they were new. I'll test, but it
Because
works
it might be just a really, really weak infrared signal, and when you put it in, it's close enough to the pickup.
Maybe just there's a small little bit of dust in the front, and maybe that's enough to block the signal.
Mm.
I don't know where the actual receiver is. I can't really see like a obvious. Well, maybe it's a.
The UV
I
can
don't know
go
where
through
the
that
actual-
sort of almost black plastic anyway, so it's probably just hidden there
Yeah,
for cosmetic
that kind of
reasons.
worked. Hang on. Oh, maybe the receiver's over here or something.
I'll still
that
give you
works.
$100 for it.
Yeah, that's
It's
working.
fine. It's
So,
yeah.
wait. I think that,
Cameron,
it's under
you
here.
need to enable Bluetooth on it.
Now here it is. There's the infrared receiver on the other side. Well, that's weird.
Did it have another one inside?
It has two, yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
must have two.
It'll have one on the underside of the light, the number panel,
Yeah.
and I'll also have one somewhere else.
That seems like a waste. Yeah, it works from back here. That's cool, as. Anyway, there you go.
You have an Atari.
I'm guessing the discs, the actual Atari data discs, are pretty rare.
Who knows? I don't think when I looked it up, I couldn't find any evidence that they exist at all, really.
Very rare to get Atari software on CD.
Well, there was only, as far as I know, there was only really sort of PD collections and stuff, because it was only a development kit. They never actually sold it, so I think there was an encyclopedia. That was about it.
Well, people did put SCSI drives on them through ASCI to SCSI adapters, but yeah.
Yeah, the question becomes, does it recognise burnt discs?
Yeah, I don't know what ISO, even if it is a standard. It's got daisy chaining for hard drives and whatnot. How
So you
did
can, so you
Ataris
can daisy chain. You can daisy chain together two impossibly hard to find.
So I don't know how many external hard drives an Atari ST can support, but it's got a drive selector here with 1, 2, 3, 4 little dips.
I can't remember offhand.
15,
I think
probably.
it's the same as SCSI, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's very,
Is it
very similar
SCSI?
to SCSI standard. No, it's not SCSI. It's very similar. It
Yeah.
might only be age, actually, now I think about it, but I could be wrong.
Well, tested working. eBay time. Nah.
Don't you dare.
Anyway, if you saw the frigging thing I had to clean up, this is the minimum I would expect, the amount of work I did.
Nice, sweet find.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
So, Cam, the video of this computer store cleanup, you're going to put that on YouTube or something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't make YouTube
And he's
videos, but I took video, so
Okay.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So it's only going to be short because I'm not a YouTuber as such. But think of Computer Reset and the worst part of Computer Reset, and it was worse than that. It was just literally a pile of computers in an old store room that the landlord wanted cleaned out. I saw a Gumtree ad, and the photos did not indicate the size of the mound.
So you only got that, but what type of computers?
No, I got heaps of stuff.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing that was worth it. There was stacks of like monochrome monitors, a couple of CGA monitors, maybe an EGA monitor, but they're all in parts. It was a repair shop.
Oh, okay.
So I got the most valuable stuff, like the stuff that I personally wanted, was some Atari ST stuff. But it was all parts. There was no complete computers at all, which is a shame. But yeah, I did get 10 Atari ST mice and a couple of still with the foam in them. And I got 15 brand new in box Atari PC keyboards. So
I have one. I'll take one, thanks. I've got a PC.
Yeah, exactly. So I will be putting those. Yeah, I'll be putting them up for sale.
Don't list them in bulk. Let them out slowly.
Yeah.
Out slowly.
Yes, exactly. No, I don't care. I need 12, 13 Atari PC keyboards.
Well, hang on. How many people are on tonight on this?
There you go. One each.
One each.
One each.
So other than that, there was like stacks of old, just mostly useless ISA cards from like industrial equipment and stuff. Honestly, that CGA card is literally the only card that I thought was cool enough to grab. Really, there's a couple of memory expansions and a real-time clock for IBMs. A huge box of about 25 and a quarter inch drives. That's pretty cool.
Were there any Ethernet cards?
Yeah.
Were there any Ethernet cards, Cameron? Like 3C503s, NE2000s?
There were some weirder ones. there was like cards. I got the Craftwork Computer World computer on the cover. I got the terminal for that. The exact same computer that's on the cover. So I'm happy about that because I'm a big fan.
Henry, what do you need it for?
I've got a T3200 SCX, one of those anyway. I'm actually going to run up a NetWare 312 server on it, and I just need the card just to actually connect it, just to for networking.
Oh, well, I've got some ISA NE2000 network cards you can have, so whatever. Yeah. So other than that, like just boxes and boxes of crap, but that'll be in the video. Lots of cool ephemera stuff like shop displays and a couple of Commodore parts manuals for like official price lists for the businesses at the time for multiple different years. I think it's really fascinating to see how much shops actually paid for it and then what the retail price was. Yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, I might scan those, but yeah, you shall see.
What was the wholesale price for a Commodore 64 out of interest? I'd actually love to know.
It was like, I mean...
And he's gone.
And he's got the manuals out there. They're in a big box. It was something like $500. Sorry, am I back?
It depends on the time period, Henry, because those prices changed so much.
There wasn't a huge margin on them, not at all.
Yeah, so like
in
now
this manual though, right? I'm back. It was like $300. He would sell it for $470 or something. That was the recommended retail. So it was a decent profit margin.
That's a decent margin, yeah.
Early '80s, because he.
Can I be here?
I got some receipts because he kept all his receipts, like everything from 1979 up to friggin' 2000. It was insane. So I chucked most of them, but I did keep some interesting ones like his, the early like 1981 like Microsoft accreditation documents and things like that, which I think are really interesting. But yeah, like various things like that. But I was surprised how big the markup was. So maybe that changed where it was like 90s and stuff.
Have I still got a video? Anybody hear me?
Yeah, you can.
If there's any interest, I would probably have here dealer price list for Commodore.
Let's say that again.
Really? Dealer prices for Commodore?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you what year it would be without looking, but I did keep a copy of the dealer price list.
We should scan them in, Ken. We should scan them
in.
You better check that your NDA has expired too.
I got about three of them from like 86, 88, and maybe 91 or something like that. So a decent spread. So yeah, if you've got a couple as well, we should scan them in.
I don't know if the disc would still read, but I remember one of our guys spent some time playing around with database software, and we had a point of sale system in the store, and he actually exported the complete cost price list for everything that had ever been in the whole store.
Yeah, right.
And we're talking all the software from the software vendors, everything back in the day.
Neat.
I mean, the chances of that 3.5-inch mega disc still reading now, though, I'd have to shimmy up to find it in my drawer.
It'd be a decent chance.
It's funny sort of a story. About 3 or 4 years ago, maybe it was 3, Ian pointed me to a guy who was selling Apple III parts, a profile hard disk, and some junk in Narre Warren. And do you recall that, Ian?
Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway, so I popped over and I picked it up, and I thought either this drive is for a Lisa or for an Apple III. And it was an Apple III drive, and it still had data on it. And in our Facebook group, come on, Anthony. There is a gentleman whose name eludes me for the moment, but it'll come to me, Robert Justice, who's an Apple III enthusiast. He cracked the password, and it is a database of an Apple store in Melbourne and all the cost prices from 1981, 1982, 83, 84. So he's made a disk image of that, and you can run it in an emulator and pretend you're a retail outlet in Melbourne.
I picked up an SX64 from Bendigo about 18 months ago, and it must have been an old dealer one because the guy that was selling it sent me all the documentation that was actually with them, including the SX manual and that little satchel for the SX64. But it was all written down, but it had all the customer files, who they actually were, what their contact addresses were at the time. Sort of like, should bring one up at random and go, oh, did you buy an SX64 from back in the mid '80s? So it was actually really interesting. I do actually. I don't really feel comfortable sharing it, but I still actually have that documentation. Yeah.
I meant ring the customers. Yeah, you still got your SX64 in your shed somewhere?
Do you want to sell
it? Has it got the keyboard and the cable?
Actually, I don't care about the keyboard. I just want the cable. I'll give you 200 for the cable.
Straight up.
Yeah. Actually, I should. No, I'm not going to do that. So.
No. When I bought my K-Pro luggable, it actually had a floppy in it. It didn't boot, so I had to work out how to get it booting. And once I booted it, I thought I'd have a look at that. And it had someone's resume from about 1981 on it, which was interesting reading.
Did he get the job?
Don't know. But, yeah. Not sure. We'd not love to know what he printed it on, but yeah. Maybe he didn't get. Maybe he chucked it all in and he sold his computer. I don't know.
Actually, in all seriousness, it was a bit scary. I posted about 3 months ago. I bought a whole bunch of cheap 2 gig SD cards, just for various SD card cartridges that I use on my consoles. I went to format them into FAT32 just to clear them out, and one actually popped up as an already formatted drive, and it turned out to be someone's it turned out to be someone's data card from a BlackBerry, but from the US. Had all these contacts, photos, and stuff like that. Just absolutely appalled me that whoever actually was on selling them at least wasn't actually even wiping the data of the information, or where they're even picking up these actual cards are actually on sale. It was actually a little bit disconcerting, actually.
But the person who ended up selling it in the first place, I mean, unless it was faulty, I mean, who would sell their phone and leave all their stuff on it? I bought a laptop from Cash Converters years ago, one of those little EEE PCs.
Yeah.
And it had photos on it. What am I going to see here? But there was just like 1 or 2 photos. But yeah, I'm sure it happens.
I think I spoke about this in one of the early Zoom calls. I got a Mac Classic, and I still got the image of its hard disk on this computer. Boy, that was full of interesting documents and emails and correspondence of all kinds. It lends itself to hours of interesting reading.
Well, this is why like second-hand places don't take computers anymore, like charity shops, because people leave all their stuff on computers. I'm sure we've all got stories of roadside freaking computers. I found a computer, and as far as I could tell, it had everything on there, like all photos for years, all receipts. The more I looked, the more creepy I felt. But I mean, you could totally pretend to be someone with someone's computer. Like this computer I found, I could completely convince anyone that I was any one of those people. Just from looking through the titles of the documents, it was crazy.
So was the computer faulty, but the hard drive was okay, or was it?
No, it was just obviously they just chucked it out because they upgraded probably, and everything worked fine. Just
any
there.
Bitcoin on there?
I don't know. It's $100 billion, you know.
Actually, speaking of old computers that still have stuff on it, there is a Toshiba Windows 2000 machine I have. It's probably like you could consider it the first netbook that exists, considering it's like it's like I can't see my camera, but it's like netbook size style computer. And it goes into a dock, and the dock has a CD-ROM drive in it, and speakers and the audio. And I don't know where the hell I got it from. I opened it up, and it's got software in it for a sewing machine.
Weird.
So I don't know. And then it was like, and it had like all their company details. I think it had like their Reckon database or something on there as well. But yeah, it was like crazy. I'm like, where did this come from?
But maybe that's the only copy of that sewing machine software that exists, and someone's desperate for it who collects sewing machines. there's have to be someone.
We'll find out, yes?
I picked up a fairly modern PC last year one time and had a look at it and sold it on to a friend of mine. He opened up the DVD drive and, Australian Federal Police evidence disc.
Oh, wow.
Video disc. Good thing it was blank. Yeah, so,
Oh, even then, a blank disc that says that on it is pretty cool.
Yeah, I said, give me that disc. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to share?
I did forget. I did have one more thing here. So I built the Pi 1541.
Oh, cool.
That was one of the other things I'd done. And too many can't see the video because it looks like atrocious. Also, I worked out that I must have killed my Pi because it stopped working one day. So I've tried to load disks off it, just like kind of freezes up and nothing happens. And I'm like, yeah, it might have something to do with the way I built the board. I don't know if I showed a picture on the group, but
Was it a hand soldered one? Is it?
yeah, well, it's definitely a proto board.
Okay, right.
And I had a good DIN socket as well. But yeah, one of the problems is the it's got a what is it, a LS 74 LS05 hex inverter for chaining more than one device together. Turns out you need a level shifter to go from 3.3 to 5, and two voltages are next to each other on the board. So if you put your finger across that section where those two voltages meet with the LS05, you could probably kill your Pi, which I probably did.
Are they that sensitive, or is that just your setup? Because you can't use them for industrial stuff, really, can you?
The Pi 1541 page says, do not put the 5 volts into the Pi. It's like, this is why the level shifter is there. So you can probably imagine that's how I killed it.
Well, aren't they only like $20?
I wish. The one I've killed is like 70.
Oh, okay, right. I get it.
Yeah, 1541s are great little things.
I have 2 in my possession at the moment, but I need to get one back. Since I tested it was working.
That's my creation.
Cool. All right. Anyone else have anything else to share, or are we done?
Stuart,
we're done. Are we going to do it again in 6 months?
We'll do it in less than 6 months. I just had to have a little bit of a break. Someone else could have picked up the can, but...
You forgot, Anthony. I had to remind you.
You honestly only do this every 6 months.
I can tell you, Stuart, I had more than one reminder.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I said something at one point.
I'm pretty sure that the people who actually did contact me are not here today. So...
Hypocrites.
The hypocrites, obviously.
For people who like their TRS-80 stuff as well, I do a monthly Trash Talk Live out of, I'll do it at New York Times because I do it in conjunction with some TRS-80 friends over there. So that's once a month. So if people are interested in just straight Tandy and TRS-80 talk, contact me. I'll let you know when the next one's on.
That'd be fun.
It's all right.
I've actually got a question for you, Ian. I've noticed this, maybe you've already answered it before, maybe someone's asked before, but when you video your stuff on YouTube, the stuff that you sell,
yeah,
is there an intentional sort of sound effect in the background that sounds a bit like, there's some interference sound and it sounds a bit like you've done it intentionally? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I never listened back to the audio because I hate the sound of my own voice.
It almost sounds like you've got in the background like a dot matrix printer going or something. It's like a sort of a it's sort of a sci-fi little sort of sound effect, and I thought maybe you'd done it on purpose, or maybe it was bad quality. But I just noticed that if you hear a bit when you're not talking, you hear this sound. So I was curious. I thought, it sounds cool. So don't change your microphone.
All right. Well, I'll say a bit from column A and a bit from column B. It wasn't intentional, and probably my crappy old camera that refuses to die. Because when it comes to tech, I never replace it until it dies, and so I still have a 7-year-old BlackBerry and a 8-year-old Fujifilm, 4-megapixel camera, which I do all my work with. It's about to hit 5,000 photographs or something. So
well, that's all right. You're selling retro stuff, so you might as well use something that's retro for filming.
Yeah. All right, guys, I got to go because I got work-ish in the morning. Everyone enjoy their public holiday tomorrow.
Thanks, Bob.
Nice. See you, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Oh, public holiday tomorrow, isn't it? I forgot.
Yeah, public holiday.
It is indeed.
Which I thought was interesting. It was today, but there you go. Also lockdown,
It's a public holiday, yeah, tomorrow.
Yep. Queen's birthday. Ever a bit somewhere? Like Western Australia or something?
Not sure.
Queensland.
Is it a holiday? Western Australia had a holiday last Monday. Not this Monday, I think. One of my guys that works actually in WA at the moment, he actually worked. He worked last Monday, public holiday over there, but they had to get the work done. And then this Monday, where we've got a holiday in Victoria, he's working in WA. So
they still have their Queen's birthday holiday coming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Queensland's no public holiday either. That's cool.
Cool.
Just hoping to get my CDTV tomorrow. So
Nice.
Cool.
yeah, I've pretty much completed my Amiga collection now. So got a 4000D last week and the CDTV this week.
Not touched a CD TV since I sold them years ago.
Yeah, I'm going to drop a TF 536 into it and mega chip. Yeah.
What are you planning on doing with it, Nigel?
Oh, that'll probably be my main OCS Amiga. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah, I'll
You got the
try and
beautiful
chase that.
black keyboard? You got the black keyboard for
Oh no, I don't have the keyboard. Yeah, I got to chase that up. That's another item on the list. But yeah, so I've pretty much got everything now except for the 2 tower machines, I think. Yeah, so.
And that'll be the hardest ones to find.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got offered one the other day in box at 4000T, but that's €6,500. You wanted for it?
Ouch.
Yeah, so about 10 grand. I thought about it. But,
For how long though? 10 seconds?
No, it's an investment. Like you're never going to get another one. Yeah, there's only 800 made or something. I think it was, or something ridiculously small.
Yeah. Used to
And this one's in box too.
Yeah.
Is it actually a genuine Commodore, the 4000?
Yeah.
This one's a ESCOM one.
Yeah, okay. Because I couldn't figure out, because when the 4000T, they don't look like a Commodore. They just don't.
No. I used to go to Phoenix a lot years ago when they existed, and they used to have a 4000T there that they did a lot of their development on.
As in Phoenix, the
Microtechnology, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Not the ROM bias manufacturer for PCs.
No, as in the Amiga 1000 upgrade.
Yep.
Mob. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I also threw down for 3 Rev 6 060s as well, so they're on the way. So that'll be 3 warp cards being made for the Amigas. Then I've got another Rev 5, full Rev 5, I think it is, that'll go on a Falcon accelerator card.
Cool. So Nigel, what's your collection focus around? Just Amigas or broader than that?
Everything. Yeah, every computer basically. Yeah, I think I've got about 70 systems or something now. Different systems and models. Yeah.
Any particular areas that you would say you're more interested in than others?
Mostly 16-bit, yeah.
16-bit. Okay, cool. Because I would say that I can't speak for Dave, but I'd say I'm definitely an 8-bit person. Yeah. So I used to have.
Vision.
Sorry, what was that?
ColecoVision.
ColecoVision. Let's call it 8. It's a Z80.
I mean, it's got the TMS chip that the TI-99 has, and the MSXs have, and all of that. So,
Totally.
Yeah, I picked up.
Anthony's got the 121 games to find.
Oh, we're talking about the Intellivision.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to get there. I'll be honest with you. I'm starting to lose faith because when I try to get Tutankhamun and a couple others the other day, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay $400 for that. I think I'll just load up my LTO flash and be happy. I mean, you get sort of anal about it. Like, so you've got like, so here's all the games that I'm missing the boxes for. And then you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but those are all Intellivision games. At the top, there's plastic bags. Those are games without boxes. And there's still heaps to go. I'm still missing a lot. But and it's diminishing returns. So you're talking hundreds of dollars for a piece of cardboard and a couple of overlays. And really, what am I doing? You still got to question what you're doing in your life when you're throwing money at shit.
Aren't you only missing like 8?
What's the sad fact?
What was that?
So aren't you only missing like 8 games?
I'm missing a bit more than 8. I had another look, but there's some stuff that I really like. Like what was it? What are the ones? What is it like? Learning, the 2 learning ones.
Those are the only ones I'm missing. The 2 learning fun.
I said the learning ones. It's like, who wants that? So, no, not that one. Not that one. That's here. But it's like they're in TV titles. So
Learning Fun 1 and
Learning Fun 1 and Learning Fun 2. It's like, really? Am I really that interested in Learning Fun 1 and Learning Fun 2? Come on. I'm not interested. Really.
I hear when it comes to big box stuff, though, because years ago, when I was getting big box games and stuff, the first thing that'd go was the box. Everything would go straight into a Ziploc bag then. Just took up too much room otherwise. I had a whole shelf dedicated to software.
Yeah, so I've been collecting those. I don't know if you've sort of seen these on eBay recently. This is
the JX stuff.
This is color paint for the JX. That's the cartridge game. This is the most interesting one. IBM mainframe communications assistant. Why wouldn't you be interested in this title? Display right and personal communications manager and artwork and word knowledge skills. So you probably think, well, Anthony, you're an idiot. Yeah, that's partially true. But what's amazing is all this software works. So I've imaged it all. It's all online on the page. I'm currently going through scanning all the manuals. But what was amazing in this haul, and the haul that's up on eBay right now, is most of these titles that are currently on eBay are not in any price list, and I was completely not aware of them. So if anyone's intending of bidding on these items, please get in contact and let me know, because I'm happy for you to buy it. I just want to scan it and put it on the page.
We now know why Anthony finally ran the Zoom call.
Yeah, because I paid this color paint. I paid $480 for this freaking thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. But there's the cartridge for the game, for the thing. But yeah, anyway.
No, I understand, Anthony. I've been trying to get a copy of Outrun for every console that's ever been produced, and I've got everything except for Outrun on the MSX. Now I've got the loose cartridge, but I want the boxed one. The box is like $400, and I'm like, oh, do I really want it or not? So, and one of these days, I'm going to just drop the money because it's never going to come up for $100 or even $50 or whatever. So I might as well just do it. Hey, going back to the television, I take it that these are all commons. I've got triple action, skiing,
super common,
drafts, and tennis. So
drafts is less common.
Yeah.
Because there's. So here's three versions. Yeah. Look. So there's triggers, drafts. Yeah. Yeah. So I intentionally don't want all types, but I have them.
It just happened.
It just happened.
So, but it's funny, Anthony. You talk about 8-bit computers. I've resigned myself. I'm never going to get the ones I want. Want or need two totally different things. But a Jupiter Ace, which was a computer that had the 4th operating system, Memotex MTX 500, and there's one, the Alarm Enterprise. They're probably the three that that I want the most, but they are just so rare. Even in Europe, they're super rare.
That Enterprise was on eBay twice in the last 12 months.
Huh?
Yeah.
You can get a Memotek.
Yeah.
I've got one.
Yeah.
But you can definitely get them. They come up.
Yeah. I would look forward to.
Yeah, sorry, Henry. Yeah, but that Enterprise was up, and I'm like, who cares about it?
With the Enterprise, it's either there's a 64.
Oh, is that an Enterprise? Oh, that's the.
Who's got the Enterprise? Who's got it?
I've got one here somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, Stuart has disappeared, and he's coming back. So, Nigel, you were showing us a, what do you call it? Odyssey.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to show, well, now my computer collection is getting so thorough. I had a rule that I wouldn't collect consoles when I first started collecting. And I started breaking that rule.
Big mistake. Never make rules.
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah, well, this is, was it G7? G6000, 7000, sorry. Picked that up about 2 months ago, I think, with a whole heap of games. And then I picked this up last week, 7400.
Oh, neat.
No, I've never seen that before. I've never seen one of those in the flesh.
Yeah, well, I've never actually held one either, but I have seen pictures of them. But yeah, the 7000 is definitely the more interesting machine of the two, from what I gather. But yeah, they're definitely something I'm going to be playing around with the next few months. Haven't got any software for the 74,000 yet, but 7,400 yet. But that's that'll come.
Can I ask what I can see in the background? I can see some things that look cool.
Someone said something?
I think it was really quiet.
Can I ask what some of the things are in the background of some of the pictures? So I see some things that look cool. Dave's got some, I think, Commodore dual drives sitting behind him.
You probably would.
Yeah.
Up on the top of the shelf, they look cool. You haven't got 8250 yet there, have you?
I missed that, mate. So, what did you say?
You haven't got an 8250 sitting there, have you?
That's the 8250 LP.
LP. Yeah, I'm hoping to get my hands on an 8250 full fat sometime in the not too distant future.
I have an 8250 LP. I ran Punter BBS back in the day. Bought it brand new. Last one Commodore Australia had. Supposed to come with warranty. And it had a dumb mechanism and it went away and they never returned it, unfortunately. But I absolutely love that drive. It was a beautiful dual drive.
Well, it's as heavy as lead, and I believe those mechanisms had problems with the capacitors on the motor control board. They just leak all over the place.
Oh, okay. I have actually got one of those mechanisms floating around here somewhere, so I probably should dig it out and check it.
Yeah, it's the same mechanism as the SFD 1001, so it's the dual side quad density mechanism.
Yeah, the big deal about them, why you can't do anything with this, is they're 100 TPI instead of 96 TPI. So I still have, I doubt very much it would read, but I still have the original Punter BBS software discs that I purchased years ago, and apparently it's lost time as far as like a copy of it existing.
It'll probably work.
Yeah, it'd be nice to image it and get it out there, you know.
Well, both me and Dave have tools to do that.
Yeah, I've got a. Hang on, I'll see if I can. I've got the phone going now. See if the audio's better on it. Put the audio on that one.
Oh, that's heaps.
That's heaps better.
That is heaps better.
That better?
Way
Yep.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah, the old laptop. Yeah, I've got a Cairo Flux, and I thought about getting a grease weasel. They seem to be a big deal these days.
So what we're doing to image 8250s is using the CBM utilities typically on a PC, and then we connect the PC to a Zoom floppy, and then we use the IEEE cable direct to the drive, and we use the drive directly. We then create a D85 or whatever it is for that particular drive. So we actually use the original hardware to image those disks.
Yeah, I thought the idea of using stuff that recorded at flux levels was if the disc had faded, you still got the original pattern that you might be able to recover at some point.
Oh, but you'll find that those discs will probably be perfectly fine. I've got to say, with all the images I've ever done, the discs are salvageable. No, we just you physically clean the disc, and the disc reads. I've never had an issue reading discs.
Okay, well, I think it'd be nice to get the software on the internet again, because I remember watching a documentary where the guy that physically wrote the software said himself that he doesn't have it anymore. You know, it would be good to sort of get it out there again. It was basically the original BBS software that ran on IEEE drives for the Commodore 62, and it was networked as far as like forwarding messages through what they called Punternet, like pre-FIDO.
Awesome. Well, either me or Dave could help you with that. No problem.
Okay, that'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd be happy to help.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if any of you are interested, but I pulled out some of the games for the Philips. And this is the cartridge and yeah, it's very interesting. Pamphlet goes in the front there.
Yeah, it's very interesting sort of design for packaging. Very.
Yeah, I've never seen anything. Yeah, so it's not, you know, no one puts effort into their packaging anymore like that. You know, it's all generic. It's all, yeah.
Oh, the other thing I found amusing, you're talking about using analog television. As you can probably see by the call sign on my name, I'm a ham radio operator as well. And we're still broadcasting normal fast scan analog TV.
Really?
How does that work? You broadcast over ham radio?
Yeah, well, part of one of our bands, the 70 centimeter band, which used to be 420 to 450 megahertz, and then the government, of course, snitched a big portion of it. We're still allowed to operate between 430 and 450 megahertz, and that's perfectly tunable by most televisions that still contain analog tuner.
Huh, neat.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, like here in Ipswich, where I am, I actually run a full television station.
Are we live? Are we live right now?
No. There's certain rules, you know, restricting what you can and can't broadcast with our license. So, I mean, I could link it in, but I'd have to be careful. Like, there's no swearing, no music allowed, no commercial advertising, all those sort of rules, you know.
Yeah. Well, our sponsor is Commodore Business Machine. Very good. Very good.
Ken, if you're looking for a grease weasel F1, I've got a ton of F1 boards here if you want one.
Yeah, I haven't looked at what to grab yet. I see there's a lot of different versions of it. I've already got a Chiroflux. I know it's sort of pretty much dead and gone now as far as what people are doing. Grease Weasel is the big deal, and I like that it's all open source and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, well, the F1, the first one he built, would basically will still do everything that the others will do. But it just basically you'll have one drive. You plug the one drive in, and whereas if you want to, I've got a setup. I've got an F7 where I've got the 3.5 and the 5 1/4, so I can basically read majority of discs, and I have no problems with reading micro B discs.
Yeah, well, I remember with the Chiroflux, the reason I got it was to do micro B, and then they had no interest in supporting the format because there's so many variations of it. So
yeah,
so it's good that Grease Weasel can do that because, as you know, I've got quite a few micro B and 64 discs and all sorts of stuff here. So
yeah. Well, you've got to get onto them, bloody start recording them.
yeah.
But yeah, the Grease Weasel will do it. Not a problem.
Yeah. You were talking about HDMI conversion for some of these old machines a while back earlier in the conversation. Has anybody played or used I see on the internet they're using Raspberry Pi Zeros to convert to a HDMI output. That looked interesting. I know there's a delay with it, but other than that,
not a big delay. I've got a couple in my Amigas, and it works an absolute treat, and it's sharp as. And it's that particular one piggybacks on the main board itself. So you lift the Denise chip and put a little converter board in there, and your Pi hangs off that, and just run HDMI out from the HDMI on the Pi. It's just dead simple.
Yeah, what I liked about the one that I saw, it has all the inputs for virtually everything. Like you could put a BBC Micro on it, you could put a Micro B, a 64, an Amiga, or whatever.
Yeah, that's the other one. I think Derek put one together for that sort of thing. And it just has a DB9 on there, and you just plumb it in as necessary. And there's got so many different setups in there, you can just tune it to the way you want it.
Yeah, okay, so they work quite nice.
Yeah, actually, if you look at, what was it, Adrian Black, actually, he just had one, and he actually ran it off an Apple Mac, like a Mac, or something like that. Mac Classic, that's the one.
Yeah.
And because that runs a non-standard resolution, he was able to actually go in there and adjust the settings, and also being monochrome as opposed to RGB. You know, he just sent it through one channel, and he did it just shows you how capable the device is.
Yeah, I noticed they even do the scanline emulation and all this sort of stuff, which I thought was quite amusing.
Yeah, it's cool, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I want something nice and sharp.
Yeah.
Jan Beda did one for the Amstrad, and something I never thought about is the Amstrad PC something. It's the luggable with the like the 9-inch green screen monitor. It's an XT clone. Anyway,
that was Noel. It was Noel.
Noel, sorry. Yeah, it was Noel. He did it, and he actually replaced the screen with a color CGA, or was an EGA monitor, and ran the Pi to HDMI, the RGB to HDMI, and actually got me thinking about a lot of the old computers, you know, the laptops of those days that, you know, the screens are all dead, like the old passive matrix monitors. Shove an RGB to HDMI, and you know, you've got a pretty much a crystal clear monitor now, relatively cheaply. Yeah, that device, I know it's originally designed for the BBC, opened up such a lot more avenues now for video for a lot of those old retro computers nowadays. It's actually amazing what they can be able to do with it. Yeah. Well, but Dave, yeah, I'm like you. I'm looking at getting the RGB one for the Auric, because trying to get RGB out with SCART on the Auric is troublesome. So it'd just be nicer just to have an all-in-one enclosed solution.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
One of the reasons I want to get one is I have a big interest in, when I was at Commodore, we sort of jumped straight to the Amiga 1000 because it was the big thing at the time, and I never got to play with the 128s, and I've finally got a 128. It's not real lit up in here, unfortunately, but it's not a real nice one, but at least it still works. And of course, I can't use the 80 columns on it without some sort of converter. But the Raspberry Pi thing, I take it doesn't put the audio through to HDMI though?
Yeah, no. It'll actually do, was it RGBI, RGBA, was it CGA? I think it does CGA as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It basically does pretty much everything, actually.
Okay, it sounds like what I need one.
Yeah, and look, I think Derek was selling, you've got to add the Pi Zero yourself, but I think it was about $70 or something like that for something.
Is that Derek Osborne?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
I've got a few Pi Zeros.
Yeah.
That works well.
I think everybody's buying Pi Zeros these days.
The Pytrex thing would be pretty cool to get as well. They're selling those. Does anybody play with Vectrex here?
Yeah, I've got a Vectrex.
Yeah, they're nice. Yeah.
I'd love one, but I haven't found one yet.
Yeah, they're not as common anymore. At one stage, you could get them from the UK pretty easily, but UK Post was really badly hit and miss for smashing things.
Yeah.
Well, I can say the RGB HDMI works really good with the 128. I use it for 80 column mode on little HDMI TV I've got here. Brilliant, clear, crystal clear.
Okay, I definitely have to get one. Do you guys play with these as well?
Oh, Mister.
Yeah. Mister.
Yeah, mine's sitting there under this monitor, upside down.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly dig the arcade cores for it because I got the real hardware for most of the other machines.
Oh, the other thing I saw that I thought was cool, Stuart has a nice box sitting up on his shelf behind him. Is that a Tandy Model 4 or something up on the top? What's that one?
Was it an Osborne?
Oh, it's an Osborne.
This one here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is a Panasonic Luggable XT.
Okay, cool.
So I was at the for those in Victoria and Melbourne. I was at the One Turner Trash and Treasure a couple of years ago, and it was just sitting there for $50 with the keyboard, and it works perfectly. So it's got a hard drive in it. The hard drive didn't work, but yeah, it's just monochrome. But yeah, that's my monochrome luggable PC.
Is your IMSA a original or a clone?
No, it's an original one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, it's probably my most expensive thing I've bought.
And those 8-inch drives someone showed earlier on, I'm sure I saw them on that TV movie that time. What was the show called? The Whopper Computer?
War Games.
War Games.
Is
Yes.
that the same drives, those 8-inch horizontal drives?
Well, I wanted to get the 8-inch drives for that, but look, I've got I won't have enough space to put it there, so it does come with 8-inch. I don't have any 8-inch drives for the IMSI. You can, there is an option for twin 8-inch, but yeah, they look pretty much the same. But the ones that I showed earlier were for the PDP-11.
I just remember they closed down the same way, so it's probably a very similar mechanism.
Look, well, most of them do, but yeah, it is different. I've had a look at that. I thought, some of the drives from different manufacturers are, they don't make their own drives, so there's some generic drives out there, but yeah.
Mm.
So you're holding up. Was that you, Anthony, holding up your IMSI replica? Wasn't it? So I have to drag mine out to show it's real.
Yeah.
It's a bit deeper.
So the difference between his and mine is this wide.
Yeah.
I want an Altair clone. That would be my ultimate, is to get an auto clone.
There's quite a few of those out. And I also like the PDP-8 clone. What's it called? PD Pi or whatever it is. They look pretty neat. But I got to say, I don't do enough with that. So why do I need to do more? But I'm like Dave. Like, they've just released the new, well, they're pre-ordering the new
the pet. All right, is that enough? Is this
Mini
enough
pets.
proof? Hang on.
It's a bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're releasing the new mini pet with the
new version of that.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
But for 530 Australian dollars or whatever, I'm like, I've got the real things. So why do I need that? So,
like, if it was a little cheaper, I would almost consider it, but I would not. It would not make a good soldering project for me.
it'd be a lot of fun, but
Not as Nerd's first project.
So, Dave, I would say it's a $300 fun project. It's not a
$500 project.
Not a $600 fun project. So I'm going to pass, I think. But
Yeah.
I could regret it.
Yeah, look, I'm very tempted, but I'm sort of 299 quid's a hell of a lot. So
It's worth it. I got to say, for those who don't have a pet, it's probably worth it. But
yeah, and given it's got composite out and you can, it just works really good. So, actually, quick question for everyone here: what do they do with their dead chips? Do you keep them or do you chuck
Put a
them?
white cross on it and shove them in a drawer.
The only reason why I ask is I saw a video. Curious Mark a few months ago was actually decanting all the old chips, and I've got a microscope that a friend of mine's modifying for me so I can hang my camera off it. So I'm just wondering if anyone, and I experimented also with my SMD rework station, and I was actually able to decant a couple of dead chips quite easily. I'm just wondering if anybody has got dead chips they are not using. I don't care what they are, but just for me to play around with and try and take die shots of.
Piles, man. Piles.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's got some spares, I'm happy to pay postage for them. So
I'm sure you'll be seeing me, so I'll just keep them.
Yeah.
Just put them on eBay. Put rare, untested.
Untested.
And get the boot polish on it.
There's some good stuff inside some of the chips I've seen. Like sometimes the creator had put their own little logo or little sort of message in there and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, look, I pulled a 6502 out, and that come out really, really quite nicely. And that was just with my camera phone of all things. I'm just trying to see if I can get it quickly. I did actually post it up on the group a few months ago, and you can actually make out the detail quite easily at that sort of level, but with a microscope it'll actually come out a hell of a lot better. So I'm sort of thinking if I can get my hand on like RAM chips and processors, it'd be interesting to see what a SID's like, because you've got analog and digital in there as well. And
I do have a dead SID.
Oh, okay.
So in the pile, there's a dead SID. So when I did all those 64s and was doing all the testing, I do have dead SIDs. The other thing I was thinking about doing is Adrian baked a heap of chips in the oven. Do you remember seeing that video?
Yes, I do, yes.
And he had very, very low success. Very low success. And I thought, I might see if I can have some low success too.
Actually, what would be interesting is a 6510. Because everybody talks about the 6502, but not much comes up about the 6510.
Well, I'm sure I have plenty of those.
Actually, speaking of Adrian Black, I was watching a video today. I think somebody has made a nice little what would you call it? It's not a emulator, but it's a you get
I saw that one too.
It goes in a PET little circuit board. You put that in. You take your CPU out of your PET. You put the circuit board in, and then you put the 6502 on it, and it's got a little probably FPGA or something, and it connects up to a Raspberry Pi. So what you can do is you can basically stop it and just edit the memory on the fly, and it's got all these different. But it's not just for.
Yeah, it was designed for the PET first, but it'll work on anything that has a vanilla 6502 in there.
It's like an ICE in-circuit debugger.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And,
It's-
it was $20 or something, $20 or $30.
30 US dollars.
Yeah. It's unreal.
If anyone's seen the Buffy that's being done for the 68,000,
yes,
similar sort of concept, yeah. CPU replacement, yeah.
But it's this still uses the CPU. It just has the ability to take control over the lines.
Okay.
So your ROM, so you can boot it off the ROM that's built into this device, and then you can edit the ROM, for example, or the RAM, or I think the only thing you can't edit was the screen memory. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Basically hosts the system and does any interrupt requests permanently until you've activated again.
Yeah, I was thinking of another board because there's actually a CPU replacement that's coming out as well for the 6510 as well, I think.
Yeah, just sorry to jump in, but that was using a mobile phone. That was a bit hard to get it, but a die shot of a 6502.
Nice.
With a mobile phone handheld, so it's like the microphone works. So microscope, you know what I'm trying to say. Getting too late in the night.
Oh, very good.
Cool.
All right, guys, we might wind it up here, but thank you everyone for coming. It's nearly 10 o'clock. Final expansion.
Nice.
Nice. Yep.
Is that a sticker or is that actually?
That's a cartridge.
But that's very thin. He's just stuck it out of an envelope.
Oh.
That's a new, very compact version.
The light version.
Is that a cartridge in the box?
I haven't assembled it. I bought the one you got sold, and I got a couple of them.
I'm just going to mute.
Feedback.
Yeah, I've muted your laptop. Now you've muted your phone.
I think the laptop was muted.
No, it wasn't.
No, this audio's still coming out of the laptop.
Try that. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got two of the kits. So I never got around to putting them together. But soon after I bought them, the lady that did the batch of them started selling fully assembled ones for the same price.
I tell you what, if you don't want one of them, I'll take one off your hands, mate.
Oh no, I did buy them because I wanted them.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of Vic 20s, so
yeah.
And eventually I will get around to soldering together. I think you can still buy them in America.
Yeah, I forgot. What's her name? Skydiving Girl. Is that her name? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You'll find threads on the Commodore and Atari forums as far as how to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks everyone for coming. I'm stopping recording.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks as always.